We would tell you that this ain't your mom's radio station, but Clayton's mom listens every week. You found Q Talk America, home of The Show with Clayton McKee, Marnie Ryer, Kat Carlson, and Al Perkins. We will be starting tonight's broadcast at the top of the hour. By the way, we're a 3-hour show, so grab a beverage and get comfortable. If you have a topic you'd like us to talk about or a question for the cast, please post it in the chat room or on our Facebook page. Simply look for The Show with Clayton McKee on Facebook. We'll be starting the show in just a few minutes. We're just getting prepared, mixing cocktails and settling in for 3 hours of chat and some non-PC fun. From wherever you're listening or watching our show, let us know where in the world you are by posting in the chat room or hit us up on Facebook. Just look up The Show with Clayton McKee. At the beginning of hour 2 is when Al gives us our drinking word for the night. Grab a beverage and drink along with the cast as they get rolling. You found Q Talk America. Tonight's live broadcast will start at the top of the hour. We would tell you that this ain't your mom's radio station, but Clayton's mom listens every week. You found Q Talk America, home of The Show with Clayton McKee, Marnie Ryer, Kat Carlson, and Al Perkins. We will be starting tonight's broadcast at the top of the hour. By the way, we're a 3-hour show, so grab a beverage and get comfortable. If you have a topic you'd like us to talk about or a question for the cast, please post it in the chat room or on our Facebook page. Simply look for The Show with Clayton McKee on Facebook. We'll be starting the show in just a few minutes. We're just getting prepared, mixing cocktails and settling in for 3 hours of chat and some non-PC fun. From wherever you're listening or watching our show, let us know where in the world you are by posting in the chat room or hit us up on Facebook. Just look up The Show with Clayton McKee. At the beginning of hour 2 is when Al gives us our drinking word for the night. Grab a beverage and drink along with the cast as they get rolling. You found Q Talk America. Tonight's live broadcast will start at the top of the hour. We would tell you that this ain't your mom's radio station, but Clayton's mom listens every week. You found Q Talk America, home of The Show with Clayton McKee, Marnie Ryer, Kat Carlson, and Al Perkins. We will be starting tonight's broadcast at the top of the hour. By the way, we're a 3-hour show, so grab a beverage and get comfortable. If you have a topic you'd like us to talk about or a question for the cast, please post it in the chat room or on our Facebook page. Simply look for The Show with Clayton McKee on Facebook. We'll be starting the show in just a few minutes. We're just getting prepared, mixing cocktails and settling in for 3 hours of chat and some non-PC fun. From wherever you're listening or watching our show, let us know where in the world you are by posting in the chat room or hit us up on Facebook. Just look up The Show with Clayton McKee. At the beginning of hour 2 is when Al gives us our drinking word for the night. Grab a beverage and drink along with the cast as they get rolling. You found Q Talk America. Tonight's live broadcast will start at the top of the hour. We would tell you that this ain't your mom's radio station, but Clayton's mom listens every week. You found Q Talk America, home of The Show with Clayton McKee, Marnie Ryer, Kat Carlson, and Al Perkins. We will be starting tonight's broadcast at the top of the hour. By the way, we're a 3-hour show, so grab a beverage and get comfortable. If you have a topic you'd like us to talk about or a question for the cast, please post it in the chat room or on our Facebook page. Simply look for The Show with Clayton McKee on Facebook. We'll be starting the show in just a few minutes. We're just getting prepared, mixing cocktails and settling in for 3 hours of chat and some non-PC fun. From wherever you're listening or watching our show, let us know where in the world you are by posting in the chat room or hit us up on Facebook. Just look up The Show with Clayton McKee. At the beginning of hour 2 is when Al gives us our drinking word for the night. Grab a beverage and drink along with the cast as they get rolling. You found Q Talk America. Tonight's live broadcast will start at the top of the hour. We would tell you that this ain't your mom's radio station, but Clayton's mom listens every week. You found Q Talk America, home of The Show with Clayton McKee, Marnie Ryer, Kat Carlson, and Al Perkins. We will be starting tonight's broadcast at the top of the hour. By the way, we're a 3-hour show, so grab a beverage and get comfortable. If you have a topic you'd like us to talk about or a question for the cast, please post it in the chat room or on our Facebook page. Simply look for The Show with Clayton McKee on Facebook. We'll be starting the show in just a few minutes. We're just getting prepared, mixing cocktails and settling in for 3 hours of chat and some non-PC fun. From wherever you're listening or watching our show, let us know where in the world you are by posting in the chat room or hit us up on Facebook. Just look up The Show with Clayton McKee. At the beginning of hour 2 is when Al gives us our drinking word for the night. Grab a beverage and drink along with the cast as they get rolling. found Q Talk America. Tonight's live broadcast will start at the top of the hour. You found Q Talk America, home of The Show with Clayton McKee, Marnie Ryer, Kat Carlson, and Al Perkins. We will be starting tonight's broadcast at the top of the hour. By the way, we're a 3-hour show, so grab a beverage and get comfortable. If you have a topic you'd like us to talk about or a question for the cast, please post it in the chat room or on our Facebook page. Simply look for The Show with Clayton McKee on Facebook. We'll be starting the show in just a few minutes.
Wherever you go, you can listen to the news. You can sleep with the blues on this wonderful, wonderful station. Just take a lively companion wherever you go. Take a portable radio. Take a portable radio.
Now, here comes the music.
Well, we've managed to get all three of us in the studio on this Tuesday evening.
Will the wonders ever cease?
No, as you can see, we had a vacant spot, and it's intentional this time. Marnie is not running late. She is out this evening. She had a work emergency that she had to deal with, so we're going to let her do that.
Emergency.
However, Kat Carlson and Al Perkins happen to be here, and I think that will suffice, ladies and gentlemen, for a show.
That's all you're getting.
Oh, it's all right. Doug
That's all
was
I've ever wanted to be. Was good enough.
Doug was busy, so it's just going to be us, and that's completely fine.
I did
feel.
send something topical to your email just this second.
Not the two pictures?
No,
Something separate?
literally just this second.
Oh my God. I'm going to have to figure out how to get to it.
It's going to be an important part of our intro when it happens.
Oh, will it be? All right, well, let's see if
All
I
right.
Well, let me get past the production that's the intro, and then I'll go
Oh.
cut right to it.
We'll get
I never-
past the
I
intro
never paid
before we get to the
attention to
intro.
I didn't even know it happened.
Yeah. Is your mic on, Al?
I feel like
There
not.
we go.
You seem
Okay,
really
like,
muted, yeah.
like oddly that
I mean, dreams do come true.
no, not that one.
No, that one never comes true.
No.
She comes with a mute button?
Who knew?
If only.
Okay, let me search for this. Did you send it to my? How did you send it to me? Oh, I see how you sent it. Stand by. Please hold.
Oh, did I send it through regular it said Messenger, so I assume they meant
right.
Facebook Messenger.
It was. I just wasn't sure where you would send.
It's timely every year.
It very much is. Stand by. I'm going to save it.
What do we get?
You'll
It's
see.
election day in many
It is.
places
It's-
across the
Oh,
world.
it is.
It
Yeah.
is.
Or the country.
It is very much so. So let me get this picture pulled up here just as quickly as yesterday's news as I can get. Where the fuck?
Well, I mean, it really is 1976's news, but
Hey, who cares?
Wow. That's timely. You're really.
I'm right on
right
it.
Here
on
we
top
go.
of that, Rose.
There it is, Al. That's the one you
The
wanted right
mayor
there.
from Jaws is still the mayor in Jaws 2. It's so important to vote in your local elections. this motherfucker stuck around.
We could have eradicated the Jaws for 2 had they voted him out,
Right.
potentially.
But I mean, that hair is spectacular.
Elections
And I
matter.
feel like his
people.
name is Larry or Barry.
Something like that.
Could be Jerry.
Again, fine choices.
These are all fine choices. Yeah, so election polling centers are closing across the nation, especially back east where it is a little earlier. Who's in the chat room on the
Kevin
Facebook?
Butler has joined us.
Hello, Kevin.
Describes me as handsome.
Well,
Get thee to a lens crafters.
by the way, we are now available in Braille, apparently.
Is he,
It is a podcast.
he might be watching on mute.
With
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I am more attractive
I think if you
silent.
separates.
I like that. He thinks you're sexy. Well, he's watching on silent.
Yeah. Looking at me's fine. It's listening to me that's the crisis.
You hate the way the car looks now. Wait till you drive it.
Yeah. No, that's a pleasure. I'm not going to shut that one down.
No, that's the line
I have no
from
comments.
Parking
No
in my
comments at all.
garage is quite fun.
No. That's the line from
Yeah, I know.
Vacation. You think you hate it now. Wait till you drive it. Oh, good God. Well, anywho, hi. It's just Joe and Missy. Oh, there's Mom. She's in the chat room there.
And then whatever time you think it is where you are.
Who cares? That's why I put the link in there. If somebody got to the chat room early, they could then click on the link that was posted earlier from
Well,
the
it's
boss.
also
They can
an
figure it out.
established fact, even through Apple, Arizona Standard Time. We have our own time zone now. Like you don't have to play along. We are Arizona Standard Time.
Don't care. Put a
Great
link.
job.
They can click on it and figure it out from
Well,
wherever they
I
are.
mean, because we are Mountain Standard Time now.
Right.
But they stopped doing all that horse shit. And like when you check in your phone, you say you're Arizona and your things don't change.
Right. It had to do that for phones because people didn't understand turning off daylight savings time.
Right. But we are now Arizona
Oh,
Standard
but wouldn't
Time.
it be great if you could just do that?
Oh, fuck.
If we could just click it off, and if enough people do it, it'll just stop happening. That'd be fantastic.
If we just all revolt and stop observing.
I think it also has to do with voting.
No,
get-
but there's...
we'll get there eventually.
Now, there are a couple of states...
Right.
Breaking news. There are a couple of states that are going to vote on that this year, from what I understand.
And I think
That's
it'll
part of
just
Are they doing
the
that
snowball.
global-
today?
It'll be like pot.
But-
Two will fall, and then the other 48 will go.
But the worst part is you're going to have those people that think that this will stop, and this is standard time. This is
what
the
we need
part
to
that-
do is go permanently on daylight savings time.
Right.
Because
That's
then
what
that
people
solves
need to
all
vote.
the
That
problems.
solves all the problems. You get the late nights in summer, and then you don't get those really short days in the winter. Because everyone's
Well,
like, why are
the-
we doing this? Because
the
everyone's
days
like, oh,
stay
it's
the same
daylight
length.
savings.
We
Like,
go through
nope,
this every
fucking
fucking
time.
year.
Right.
We have the
need
same
to go-
And
conversation.
I find it
every-
fascinating every time.
We need to spring
I
forward
don't.
one last time and then call it quits.
Yeah.
Just call it time from then on.
Yeah.
Just call it time. That's time. It's,
Yeah.
it's time.
Time.
It is time.
We'll believe in time zones
Yeah.
Yeah, time
well, because-
zones are fine.
because
Could you-
there's
that
a
makes sense.
Yeah.
there's a thing and there's a problem with daylight savings time that's now been created where there are some places where sunset's like 3:00.
Yeah.
I saw a whole chart on it, and it's very fascinating to see how that happens and how terrible it is. And maybe I read a whole thread about how maybe we need like diagonal time zones because the up and down ones aren't quite working right.
Right. Because up there,
Because the way the
up in the
sun
Niagara
works.
Falls,
Right.
in the summer in daylight savings, light till super late at night.
Yeah.
But when they do this shit where they put it back to standard time, you're like,
3:00, sundown.
oh, I know we would come home from school and the sun would set. Like we ate
Yep.
dinner in the dark for like months. And you're like, this is not right.
Not
This
good.
leads to serial killers.
Especially if you're a kid that likes to be out in the neighborhood and
Oregonians.
has to be home by dark. This is bullshit.
Oh, wait.
Okay, so we've hurtled past that stimulating topic.
Wait, we have
Every
an
year.
Ilya?
Every
I gotta
year.
put my glasses on. for
you
this
sent
last
me
name.
2 pictures that we are supposed to ascertain your ability
When
to
we get to
be
what have
here.
you been doing this week?
Oh, I thought this was going to be
Our
more
turn
urgent.
We thought this was an introduction.
That's what I
Ilya.
thought. I'm going to go with yes based on what I'm observing before we even look at pictures.
Krasilnikov. Yeah, you. I think I'm spot on that
proud
one.
of you. Super proud
Well,
of you.
More sober than the picture's going to say. But
The pictures look
Ilya
good.
is joining us as well.
From, I
Welcome,
wonder from
Ilya.
where?
She says, hello, handsome. Oh, he or she says, hello, handsome people. I did not check on gender.
I
Your
wonder-
preferred gender is always appreciated
I
if you could
wonder
help us.
where they
because
are.
we have made some terrible mistakes
Terrible
in the past.
mistakes.
Yes, horrible.
Pour me out, Cal.
And you can tell by the look on my face how concerned about it I am.
But hello. So I
You
don't,
people.
Now I don't know this.
We've
I
reached
don't
a
know
new
this
level
name
of
at all. So
appreciation.
hopefully we'll find out where they are from.
Well, I'm gonna look up I'm gonna log into our little portal
Do
and
that.
figure out where everybody's listening from because
So
I
it's
can.
lots of fun. So
Very busy. I haven't done anything. I don't know why we're gonna play this game because you know what I've done.
I feel like you've done something. You made it through Halloween.
I
And
did.
as a bartender, that really is that's
And
a,
I
that's a-
worked, and it was not the worst Halloween I've ever worked.
I feel like the costumes the game was elevated this year. I feel like 2019 is when this decade really got its shit together in Halloween costumes. I was proud of.
I wasn't. Listen.
No, not us. We're not playing.
Clearly.
Halloween is dead.
So
to
I
us.
worked on Halloween.
But I'm saying the participants, I feel like
You
really
feel like they were
upped their-
good?
Like the pictures that were presented to me, the elderly sitting at home, I was like,
the elderly.
damn girl, damn Gina, you got it.
I didn't notice any of that. I barely participated. I bought a whistle, the kind like referees use, and I put it around my neck, and they said, "What are you supposed to be, a coach?" And I said, "No, I'm the whistleblower."
Oh, good.
Oh,
Right.
wow.
Simple.
Ta-da, ba-dum-bum, done.
No,
Wow,
you're done.
that was-
Cost
You're
me
done.
cost me $2.28
It's relevant,
plus shipping. Right.
right on the money.
It's topical.
It's topical.
It works.
It's a conversation.
Gotta laugh every
starter.
time.
Yep.
Didn't have to do
Every
shit. I wore a
time.
black t-shirt.
I mean, not every time, but we're gonna let it's her story. We'll
Right, we'll
have
let her
it.
go.
Talking to drunk people, they'll laugh at anything. Listen, look, see?
Look at this,
All right,
right?
yeah, all right.
That is a
Point-
fair assessment
point
right there.
made.
That is a
My-
fair.
My key audience is
Now, I don't
laugh
know.
at their own toes.
Now,
They
I don't know
care.
where this individual is viewing
Ilya?
us from on the YouTubes, but according to the radio.co, there are 4 listeners currently, and they're all in the United States. That is just the audio only stream, so I'm not sure where this.
They're on the
person is.
YouTubes.
Yeah, the YouTubes. It could also be anywhere, but I'm not sure where they are.
Yeah, very exciting.
Anywho,
It's a name we've not seen.
agreed. Okay, so
Yeah. Survived the Halloween.
Survived
that
that.
happened. The children, I feel like, did not collect as many Snickers bars as I wanted them to. I'm very disappointed.
oh,
Yeah.
the home
There is
game.
a quote. There
of
is
this.
a quota.
So
Oh,
you didn't
clearly, yeah.
Got it. Okay, I thought
Right.
you were jumping from work to home. I understand.
Well,
now.
all Halloween related, so I was still on theme.
No, I get that part. I didn't realize we were jumping from home, and you said the kids didn't collect as much like at the bar. Then I realized
No,
nope.
the children.
The
my
goal
children.
for the children is to go out and collect Snickers for
Snickers
mommy.
bars for me to eat.
Got it.
Because
Got it.
they, turns out, don't like chocolate.
The fuck
So
is wrong
it's
with those
perfect.
children?
They don't even miss
That's why
them.
this Halloween is wasted on me. It's like Easter. I don't get the candy angle, so I'm out.
Snickers bars all day long, and we're almost out. and
Oh,
I'm very
Reese's
upset.
cups, 24/7. I mean,
I'll
that's
bring you
just a
some.
staple.
Yeah, I'll go dig those out because I don't like those.
I do enjoy
Those are
those.
terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, it's chocolate, it's peanut butter. Where am I going wrong?
They need to be separate. They need their own houses.
And it is
Segregated.
It's a cup.
No, they need to be
It's a cup.
segregated.
No,
they live
they
in one
don't.
house.
I'm
They need
all
to-
about
They need to live on separate
desegregation.
islands.
I found something ridiculous called organic Concord jelly.
What is this? Oh, why is that loud?
That's ridiculous, but at the same time, very tasty.
Where's the volume?
So, just for your shopping needs.
Organic Concord jelly.
I was at one of those places where you can't get anything. Like they just assume when you walk through the door of the store you're allergic to everything. So there's one bottle of milk in the whole thing because everything else is for those that are allergic to milk. It's one of those kind of stores.
Okay.
I don't know what those are like.
But they don't have a lot of milk for sale that has milk in it.
No. Oh, speaking of
I have
groceries.
I have a question though about your. Before we get to you,
Go ahead.
why were you in this store, Al?
I just needed some lemons, limes, and fresh squeezed orange juice, and I thought these are the people that are going to have fresh limes, fresh
Okay.
lemons, and fresh squeezed orange
And how
juice.
did that work out?
Perfectly. They
Okay,
had all the
right,
things.
All right. Well, all right.
And then
yeah.
I thought, well, hey, while I'm here, I could get a gallon of milk. And then I laughed at myself because I've been here before, and I'm like,
Nope.
no.
Got it. Kat, back to you.
No milk. So, this is actually the highlight of my week. Are you ready?
Wow. Peaking so soon in the show.
Amazon has a service called Amazon Fresh, which is
Yes,
groceries, like
yes.
regular groceries
Heard of it.
that they deliver to your house very, very quickly. I don't care what kind of wizardry they do, they just do it. But you have to apply for it. You have to say, hey, I want in, and then they have to wait 3 days while they pick their nose and do nothing and then tell you, oh my gosh, you're
Approve
in.
you.
Of course you're approved.
Right. Of course I'm approved.
You have a credit card.
I'm approved today. So I'm very excited to start using this service and never going to the store again.
Okay, two things.
Tell me. Minimum
I'm
order of $35.
I can hit that.
Oh,
Oreo cookies alone.
he'll do that in milk, alone.
Yeah.
Milk, cookies,
Got there in milk,
loaf of
cheese, and
bread,
Triscuits. You know what I
container
mean?
of milk, stick of butter.
$35.
Done.
Sounds like Paula Dean is going to be shopping for you.
But because of that movie, The Net, what was it called with Sandy
Yes,
Bullock?
The Net.
One of my favorite Sandy Bullock movies.
Yes.
I'm worried that when I die, no one will know who I am because I just keep ordering things off the net. I found it a cautionary tale even in the late 90s. It has haunted me.
Counterpoint.
Do I really need anybody to know who I am when I'm dead? Fair.
Yes.
Wow,
And
that accelerated quickly, Al. I didn't realize you were...
Because I'm dead, so all the people that were concerned about it are dead. So we're good.
that's true.
Super
Okay.
happy.
Fair enough. Amazon Fresh, my new best friend.
Well, congratulations. You may
Look
already be a
for
winner.
up-
And
Updates.
again, it's one less reason to have a car, which you've seen in person is probably a good idea.
That is true. You know what Al did this weekend? Al
I
looked at a
can't
group of
imagine.
people and said, "Oh, I could drive." And we all said, "Yeah, that's a good idea. You do that." And,
And
we all
then-
got into his car for
then
him
you
to drive
realized-
us someplace.
The error of their ways.
Apparently,
Oh.
he has not lived in Phoenix very long.
I just moved to the valley
Al's not the best driver.
33 years ago. It's not the driving.
I have to say,
it's
no, we
the
were
where we
were
are.
very safely conveyed where we needed to go. There were no scary moments.
It's just that I
We just-
frequently don't know where I am in the world.
Just a number of interesting navigation choices.
And one
And us in the back seat were just like, yeah, sure, we could get there that way too. Yeah, sure, this will work too.
and I drove people twice in 2 days. And both times I yelled out, "Where the fuck are we?" while driving my car.
That was honestly a wonderful experience. I'm glad that we had it.
Where
Okay.
where is this?
Where did you guys want to go? Because I don't know where we are.
Not sure where we landed.
Well, I had, in all of my years that I can remember, I have never made it in a non-traffic way from the 60 onto the 10. I only know that, like, congested. So the other night, it was late at night, and we went from the 60 to the 10 without not a second's hesitation. Like, no brake lights. We
Right.
never made it below 65.
Normally you have an hour to think about how it's going to
So all of a sudden
transition.
we were
Right.
on the other side of it, and I'm like, did I make a wrong turn?
This
like,
is too fast!
Where's the part where we all slow down and bitch about how much we hate this transition?
Okay. All right.
And I had to ask, like, where?
Behind you.
I literally had to call out, where the fuck are we in the world?
All
And then
right.
I remembered that I had my navigation on in my car, which clearly states in front of me what road you're on and what the speed limit is.
Go ahead,
And then
Kat.
I looked down and I saw that.
So
I
that-
did not use the navigation on the way to Tempe.
That's true. You did not. And we weren't helping you either. We were just letting you go whatever your own way was going to be, and then went, oh,
Because again,
This is fine.
I thought we were gonna hit the 202, and then we didn't, and I was like, shouldn't something have
I feel
happened?
like this should have happened by now.
Where's the road that I was supposed to be on?
So in other news, so get this. I go to YouTube to investigate Ilya, our new listener, thinking that it's Facebook and you just click on them and get to a profile. Not true. You have to work a little harder. However, Ilya, nothing very exciting on their profile. I mean, I'm sure a lovely person, but nothing in their YouTube about me shenanigans.
Oh,
Right? So
No.
then I go to our friend Kevin Butler. Kevin Butler, if you're listening, your YouTube description for your channel says, "Welcome to the Pine Tree Lounge and Restaurant, the annex office of the Little Giant Dildo Company.
Whoa!
Bernice and Reginald will tell you all about our company and will explain all our services and products offered. Also, they, from time to time, will reminisce about their old days in Vegas." Kevin Butler has 11 subscribers and quite a few videos that I'm very excited to
He has 9 more than we do.
get to. Right. Kevin Butler, congratulations.
thank
You
you
won
for
the game.
We appreciate your endorsement. Yeah.
I'm very excited to watch all of your videos, Kevin. Thank you so much for having them and for being here and for wasting your Tuesdays like this.
Like that in this fashion.
And I can't wait to find out more about the Little Giant Dildo Company.
Well,
Do you give any sort of
I'm
discounts,
sorry,
like
please
friends
end
and
that
family?
sentence. End that sentence.
Just end it.
what does the sample
Fair
box
enough.
look like?
Yeah.
Is what I-
See.
Is there any sort of gift package?
Yeah.
Do you have a website?
Is lubricant sold separately?
Does it arrive at my house in a discreet package?
Everything does now.
It,
Everything looks the same.
for the most part, yeah.
Yeah. There's nothing just the shape of a giant cock coming at your house anymore.
Wow. Well.
Listen, you never know.
You know her life.
I bought a fire hydrant. Funny story.
You don't even have a dog.
So I enjoyed the Halloweens. First with children trying to buy candy from me, which was the opposite of entrepreneurial skills. No, you should be selling the candy, not buying it from me. But so I do love the trick-or-treaters. I think next year I might just take it off and sit at home and give out candy because I really found it fun.
The kids are very fun, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just to see the costumes, and I really felt like everybody was stepping up their game this year. So, gave out candy, then had to go get ready for work, came back, gave out more candy. I had my car running with the door open, super sketch. Don't take candy from somebody whose car
Just
is
don't
running
even
with the
go to
door
that
open.
door. Just
Because I think
run
that's how they
past
get your
little children.
smallest, slowest child. But so people were coming up, and finally the last group came through, and I'm like, I really have to leave. You're the last group. I'm so glad I could see all your costumes. And the old guy was like, "You've got a really nice car," and I'm like, "It's a Ford. Calm down." We go to the next person, and I'm like, this is kind of sad that you're the last people I'm gonna like give candy out to tonight. So make sure to tell people don't egg my house. Like I was giving out candy, and he's like, "I'll give you $5 for the rest of the bag," and I was like, "Huh?" So I move on, I give it out the next kid, and then I look back, and the kid's got a $5 bill, like in his hand, like I'm gonna seat him somewhere, and I'm like,
Did you take it?
no, I'm like,
Come on.
kid, keep your money. I'm like, first, this is not a costume. I'm a nurse. Diabetes is real. You need to settle the fuck down.
Wait, were you a diabetic nurse? Wait a minute.
I'm always a diabetic nurse.
He's warning the children of the dangers
So
of
I get
diabetes.
to the last guy, and I just said to him, I'm like, you don't have like any kind of like a pillowcase or a basket?
Right.
And he's like, no. He's like, I'm with these two. He's like, I'm just walking them around. So I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, you can have his. And I threw some more candy in the kid's bowl. I'm like, seriously, it's a lot of candy in your bag. Why are you buying candy?
I'd have snatched that $5 out of the kid's hand and handed him the bag. Here you go, pal.
I mean, I was surprised I didn't go that, but I was so taken aback by somewhat like a preteen trying to buy candy. Like
Yeah.
the Circle K's right down
That's
the
some
street.
shit my kid would do.
Yeah, like
Was it my kid?
No, but I'm like,
Are you sure?
and his dad's sitting there eyeing up my car, so I'm like, nothing about this is normal. I did just wash it No, I did not. I washed it on Saturday, so the car was not clean.
Filthy. Maybe he likes a dirty car. Maybe he
Not
likes a dirty
clean.
Ford.
Not clean. I love a dirty Ford.
Maybe he likes a diabetic nurse.
What do you do for $20? How do you feel about a dirty Ford?
Owned by a
Wait,
diabetic
I don't know what
nurse.
that is. I'm going to Urban Dictionary. Wait.
I know. We
It's
gotta
gotta
find
be
out.
something.
We gotta
Does
find out.
Urban Dictionary translate that? Dirty Ford.
There's a name
I'm
for
looking it
everything,
up.
and if there's not, we're gonna make up what a dirty Ford is. On
How do we
Urban.
submit things to this Urban
Yeah.
Dictionary?
I think
You can.
it's like Wikipedia. And then Saturday I went to my friend Angie, whose birthday is near Halloween, and she loves scary stuff. So we decided to do the haunted house. One haunted house, Sanctum, in the East Valley, stayed open, and they did this thing I've never seen before. They did total blackout. So you go into a haunted house, and they have to like really separate the groups because they turn off all the lights. There are a couple things that there are still like things in there to scare you, but mostly you're just walking through a completely dark maze. And in the second room, they give you a candle, but it's basically a glow stick
Okay.
in the shape of a candle. And then you have to make your way through with people like pushing you and shoving you. And they separated our group and gave us another candle. They were like, oh, 6. Like, yeah, we can take 6 of you. And then they separated us somehow. And they had fog machines going. So your candle did nothing. All you were doing was like lighting up the fog. And if you remember the Oregon story from a couple months ago, like that's exactly what it felt like again. Sensory deprivation where you had no idea. And then there's people all of a sudden next to you.
You're
and
walking
then-
into people.
Yeah, my friend that was with, because I was surprised that we lost the people in front of us.
And you were on a date. You didn't realize it.
All of a sudden, they're doing the dirty Ford.
In the yeah. Climbed on top of me, did the dirty Ford, left. So
We did dirty Ford, reverse cowgirl.
Wow. Okay.
Just a tow truck
And the
ride
chandelier, and then I was out.
exactly.
Just a tow truck right away. God damn it.
So the funny thing was, is we get to the like second or third room, and they somehow managed to get the group in front of us separated from us. And then I had a candle, and like then I was nervous that like, okay, they got rid of the first 3 people in front of me that I can't see anymore. Am I still with the same people behind me? And my friend was so nice. He put his hand on my shoulder, and then he like stayed with me. Having the candle was even more terrifying because sometimes you'd arrive at people that were like there to scare you before anybody else did, and they were kept trying to misdirect us. And then I think we went through the break room, and we ended up catching up with their group, which made all the people working there kind of mad that we found each other. And then we went around in circles through like scary rooms and all this stuff. For what I felt like for $20 was way too long of a haunted house experience. I'm like, this $1 per haunt has gone on way too long. It's too much.
Okay.
Too much. Let me out. We get out, and then like a couple minutes later, the people that went, the other 5 of us, they went in. We went as 6. They went as 5. 2 of them come out with a guy that wasn't with them, and I'm like, okay,
Where'd you find him?
that's odd. And they're like, that was fucked up. They're like, we got all turned around. We had the candle, and we told them that they don't have a candle behind us, and they didn't care. They just shuffled us along. And I'm like, but who's he? And they're like, we don't know. I'm like, but we saw him in line. Like, he's with other people. Like, are they ahead of you or behind you? And they're like,
We don't know.
we don't know. And like, oh, so then it was like sitting around chatting. And then 10 minutes later, his group, the other 2 people from his group, come out screaming and yelling, getting chased by a chainsaw. And they're like, what the fuck was that? And why are you done? And he's like, I don't know. I'm talking to these people.
This is my new family.
But we're still not caught up with the rest of our group. So then like more time passes, and we're all like, how long can you stay in a haunted house before someone like helps you out of it? And then finally they came out, and somebody, I mean, if you've ever seen 3 bitchy women chased by a chainsaw being like, okay, enough with you. What just happened? Like,
Well, are there alternative ways to go through it? Like
yeah,
one's
because-
shorter,
because
one's longer?
You're not in, it's not lit up. So you could end up at what are dead ends, but you don't, like usually in a haunted house, it's got low lighting. So you can be like, oh, that's a dead end. Turn around. We got to go back and get scared. But in this one, like we got lost in one room to what felt like to me a really long time where we couldn't see through the fog machine
To get out.
how to get out. But we got out like 10 to 12 minutes before the rest of our group. And like,
That's crazy.
that's a long time to spend trapped in a room with people trying to scare you and no light. It was sensory deprivation. It was super creepy. Well done, Sanctum, for the and they did it for the last 2 days because it's after Halloween. So who are you going to get back there? But people that you tell them, okay, you liked that, you can come back after Halloween that weekend, and we're going to make it completely different. We're just going to turn out all the lights and just make you wander through. And there was one part was like hanging meat, and they were clearly like vivisecting people.
right.
And I'm like, the person that's hanging from the hook is that's a person. Like, that's some kind of a stunt. And we made it through the first time, then I heard people scream behind us, and then we never got rerouted back to that room. But I guess everybody else went through it like 4 times. And like, the fucker hanging was alive. And I'm like, I knew it. I just looked at that thing, and I'm like, nope, that's a person.
Okay.
That thing hanging that looks like someone who's died horribly is going to jump out at us. And I heard everybody else go through it, and we just didn't time it right. But fucked up, so Sanctum. And then today, my friend Danielle, who will show pictures, it's her birthday sometime last week, so we went out drinking today, my frequent drinking companions, and we trashed. So that's Danielle on the left and Tiffany, who got married, on the right. But we don't look as drunk as I thought we would.
Danielle looks trashed.
It's her birthday. It's fair.
Yeah.
I think you look fine.
So we did some North, which I was not aware of. Italian restaurant on 40th Street in Camelback.
Oh, sure.
Smells
Yeah, very
delicious.
nice.
We did not eat there because I had never heard of it.
Right.
So we had an Italian margarita, delightful. And then we went to Crujiente Taco and ate ourselves stupid, drank all the margaritas,
Good.
and then walked over to Chelsea's Kitchen to finish up happy hour
Great.
and had some desserts.
It's a hell of a day at sea, sir.
Yeah. So all of a sudden we've been drinking for hours.
I see.
Great job.
So I'm kind of drunk.
Proud of you.
Okay. There's that. I don't feel that I have terribly exciting things. I spent almost all of last week here in the house building terminals.
Did you meet your deadline?
Yes.
Was it a Rainbows Fest related deadline?
What do you mean?
I don't know.
Oh, yo, absolutely. I thought that was understood, that was the deadline I was under.
I didn't know what you were working on.
Yeah.
I didn't
What was the deadline?
presume.
Rainbows Festival this past weekend. Yes. 20 units. We got through it. I had to.
Why didn't they just put him out on the lawn like they did?
I
for
had
Pride?
to. Because I was running the show.
That seemed like a fine solution.
Yeah.
No, it was a horrible idea. And I eventually had to step in at the end and be like, this is how this is going to go. And I had to shut some stuff down, and I just had to take control of it. And then come to find out, they had told them 18 terminals. Like, that's how they were going to do it. Like, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think they used 9. And Tammy was so pissed. She's like, how many? Like, really? Because they had initially set it all up for however many terminals. They used like 9 or 10, whatever it was. Not even. So, anyway, the point of that part of the story is we could have been done a hell of a lot earlier than we were. But it was 4 days of like
I was just trying to picture the bars out there.
12, 14, and one 18-hour day, all in that workshop doing and going. And yeah. So that was a lot of it. Then I learned the joy of this little channel on Sirius XM. That is the 24-hour George Michael station because of the movie Last Christmas. It's coming out November 8th. I am not endorsed. I mean, they're not a sponsor. I just happen to.
They didn't pay us to say that. It just happens.
No, but
And the movie looks delightful.
But the very interesting thing about this channel is I've heard, and I couldn't even tell you what the titles of them are. There are 3 songs so far I've never heard, and they're not the new one that they've just released for the soundtrack. These are songs that came out like in 2012, 2005. Never heard of in my life. Never knew he did. And I was like, how do I not know of these? Mm-hmm. So it's been very interesting to listen and hear.
The real fans bought those albums.
And you can just shove it up your ass, too. I'm sure Darren Simmer has it.
It's called...
Fine. Anywho.
It's called Going Forward.
Dirty Forward.
The Dirty Forward.
It has been enjoyable to listen to that. There was a friend on the patio of Stacy's the other night that she was coughing and talking like Brenda Vaccaro like this. So I made a reference to the fact that she looked like somebody who drank scotch and smoked Territons, and I had to send her a picture because she didn't know what that meant.
Oh, wow.
So I saved the picture to show you because nobody knows what Territons are because they don't make them anymore.
Nope.
There's that.
And probably for good reason.
Probably because of all the people they
maybe
killed.
so. Also this week, and this will really mean nothing to any of you, but I will share it because
I'm excited to
you
hear
share
it.
all your worthless information.
Yeah,
so why not?
Hey. Valuable shit, I tell
The
you,
first part arrived from Tennessee from a guy who deals with buses and coaches.
I knew that was a bus part sitting in there.
The first part has arrived. Mom doesn't even know this, and but she'll be seeing it. First part arrived. That's part of the replacing parts that were sold off the bus before
Should
I
I
bought
go
it.
get it so we can show the people?
There it is.
Oh, there it is. My gosh.
That is a rear door. It's the passenger side or the right side of the bus. The back. Those 3 holes that are there are for a turn signal, a backup light,
and a dirty
and a
Ford.
brake light.
And a Dirty Ford.
But and the interesting thing to me about that is actually brand new old stock. So that's like a 50-year-old part that's been in a box on a shelf that was never needed for all those years. And this has been sent to me to replace the one that I'm missing, which I just thought was kind of cool. And then I will end this little
Never
segment
tell hoarders that sometimes you appreciate what they do.
Oh, it just makes it worse. Yeah,
Yeah.
just enforces their.
Which reminds me, we still have to measure your gap for your refrigerator, so I know whether or not that fridge is going to go to that or not.
Mind my gap.
We'll figure it out. Then finally,
I didn't know you were a doctor.
he's been with us in studio. He's called in years ago. He's been with us. My cousin in Missouri, who is building their home and working on their place in their land. Right, he's the pilot. Well, he just posted this today, which I thought was cool. They just finished the first building on their property. This is their square of land, and the white building is his airplane hangar, new workshop, and garage, if you will. The plane is already in there. He's moving all the equipment from our barn at our original family home, which is funny because this building is so big. It makes all of the equipment that was in my grandfather's shop look really tiny. And that diagonal cross.
The landing strip?
That is the landing strip that he's been working on for they bought this land like 3 or 4 years ago, and he's been slowly grooming the land. Like they came in with an earth mover and moved it and smoothed out that area, and he keeps mowing it. And he's taking trees down. All the power lines are buried. So he can literally take
Good job
his
on
plane.
getting rid of the trees. I see none.
Yeah. Well, on this,
it's
the
real
two.
smart.
And then I guess he's taking something down.
I've been counting. I'm still at 0.
Yeah, done a great job with this. But the first building is done. That's just a huge thing, and I'm envious. I'm proud of them. They've worked a long way. They've got to build. They're going to be starting their house before too long, and then it'll just accelerate from there, and they'll be moved up north.
That is really cool.
Up north, meaning it's 4 or 5. Let's see, it's like 9 miles north of where our family home is in Joplin.
9 miles further than I really want to drive.
No, it's lovely. I would love to be there. I would love to be there with him.
I second that.
I'd love to be there helping him do all that fun stuff right now, but alas, my responsibilities are here to you people. Programming
If this
note.
is what's stopping you, friend, we can just shut this down.
Programming note. I just remembered. I leave for Puerto Vallarta 3 weeks from today. There will not be shows on the 26th of November nor the 3rd of December.
That's fantastic because I
So
won't
you
be
can
here either.
you can mark those on your little
I'm
calendars.
out the 17th.
Of which month?
November.
I'd have-
Good,
Okay.
good follow up.
Perhaps the 19th, since the 17th of November is a Sunday.
The 19th.
Perhaps
You're
the
leaving
19th.
on the Sunday, maybe? You're
No.
leaving on a Sunday?
I have to work that night.
Or are you thinking of December 17th? That 17 is a Tuesday.
I'm going to check my calendar.
Let's check. Let's see how calendars work.
Cheese
here
and
today.
rice.
I meant the 12th.
Of what?
November.
October.
I'll be missing the 12th.
Remember the 12th of November.
So was it next Tuesday?
Next
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Oh,
I didn't realize it was that soon.
12th of November.
But in my defense, I meant to tell you last week.
Oh, got it.
Oh, that would have been more timely.
So anyway, so we got a month. It's the end. It's coming to the end of the year. So the holiday script, everything. Anyway, so we're going to have shows. We're not going to have shows, and just get used to it, people.
They'll be fine.
And then someday we just won't have a show at all, and then you'll be sad.
Will they?
No.
Maybe. Because we'll all find better things to do with our lives. Maybe.
Will we?
Yes, we will. By the way, speaking of better
Yes,
things to do with
better
your
things to
lives,
do with my life.
you just celebrated an anniversary. Is it 5 or 6 years you've been with the Cobalts?
Oh, at the Cobalt? I know LinkedIn has been like blowing me up.
That's
I'm like,
what-
oh,
that's
that
how
must
I
be it.
learned
Is that how
about
you found
that.
it?
Yeah.
I didn't know that anybody ever looked at that.
Well, I get it notifies me of everything because
Check your LinkedIn?
it alerts me to shit.
Okay.
I don't know. But yeah, I keep getting the emails all day and people are like,
Congratulate Kat
congratulations.
Carlson for little years
Why,
of Cobalt.
thank you. Yeah, it's 5 years.
So that's when
5
you
years
left
at the
the
Cobalts.
other place,
Yeah.
right? Well,
Yeah,
look
yeah.
at you.
October 26, 2014 is when I left. the
Not
other
that
place.
you were keeping track at all.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, good for
Very
you.
close to.
And
Anyway,
it's all gone well.
I think so. I think it's going very well.
Yeah.
Yeah, things are
And
happening.
you're running the bar your way anyway. It doesn't really matter, does it?
It's wonderful.
Sure.
Get my way 3 days a week and it's perfect.
Gotcha.
That's enough.
That feels like enough.
Yeah.
It's my way on these days, and I don't know what happens on
3
other
days a week. Did you hear the headline about Microsoft tried the 4-day work week and productivity went up 40%?
Imagine how high my productivity is working 3 days a week.
Sure.
I'm the queen of 3 days a week. I am here to tell you. 3-day work weeks, do it.
Right. But you do
If you can.
You do 3 12s though, right?
Yeah, but it's still 3 days.
Yep.
Right. No, but I'm saying because usually it's like people do 4 10s, which is what Ricardo does.
Right.
But you but you do 12s, right? Or they go
Yeah,
longer.
So we only hit 36. We don't do 40-hour
Okay,
weeks.
got it.
So that's the nice thing is you do
Well, I wouldn't want to do 40
3
in
days.
years.
Yeah, 3 days and you don't do 40 hours. You only do 36. Which at first coming from the bar was like pretty much part-time because I
Right.
was like almost 45, 48 hours. So I'm like,
Yeah.
this is light.
Right.
Delightful. But it's nice, but when when people are always like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, you have to cut the shirt." I'm like, "No, I work a 3-day week. Like, I don't give a shit."
Yeah.
Super okay. Yeah.
When do you go back to work? Next Thursday.
Right.
So
We're gonna be fine.
Oh, Joe, I'm not sure how. You're
I
optimistic.
don't know if we have it in us.
I don't think
Joe.
I have it in me for
I don't.
that. So I think a 9.5 maybe we're going to land
on
on
a
that.
Richter scale, this shit.
Yeah, we'll see how that
Wait,
works
that's
out.
a whole logarithm thing. Like, that step's way bigger than you think it is.
I didn't
Let's
think,
do another segment.
I didn't think we were all handing in our resignations tonight. This is exciting.
I was gonna save it for the wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
I
sure.
was just eating peanuts.
I got my mixed nuts over here. We've got a whatever this creme brulee candle. What is that?
Cinnamon
Vanilla
brulee.
Cinnamon brulee.
Michael
I didn't-
Bublé's sister.
I didn't know they bruleed the cinnamon.
Yeah.
Do any of you, and I forget if
That
I've
was
already
only
brought
the
this up.
creme.
Do you either of you follow The Voice, the TV show The Voice at all, or no?
No, too many rules.
That I'm not about the
Too many
rules. I don't
people.
care the show about the rules. It's just the blind auditions, and they go to the knockouts. That Katie Caden, the gal from Chicago, the full-figured girl, got a hell of a voice.
That's the thing. They all have great
Amazing.
voices, but then
No, not like this girl. This girl is a whole different class.
I've
all on
watched
her own.
all different kinds of years of people have had amazing voices, and then they make their people compete against each other, and they eliminate their own team.
Yeah.
I don't think this girl's gonna ever get eliminated.
Then they give them challenges that make absolutely no
No
sense to
sense.
their actual talents.
Like the rules, like you get involved, you follow somebody you think
We'll
is
move on because I
spectacular.
just wanted to say that she's a great singer, and now I'm getting beat up over
No,
fucking
I'm not.
TV series rules, and I don't
You
give a
didn't
fuck
write
about.
the rules.
That
I don't
place
care
is
about the rules.
Chock-a-block with lovely singers, but they fuck them over.
I don't really give a shit about the rules. Yeah, thank you, Siri. Shut up. I don't know what she heard, but she heard something that she needed to chime in on. Yeah, you're not hearing me correctly. Let's just go on to this. Let's see if we can get headlines pulled out of our ass. The rules of that haven't changed, I don't think. Let's see if we can pull this off. A woman continued to text her father's phone even after he passed away.
What do people do in Chicago in the winter?
They're giving away cities in Italy.
Suspect surrenders to police only after mugshot photoshopping.
Another funny DUI story.
I only had one.
And man tries to open bank account with $1 million bill.
Wow.
Yeah.
$1 million bill.
Yeah. Got anything else?
Good for him. Turns out I'm older than Morning Edition on NPR.
What? I don't even know. What
I know, but I'll tell you about
that
it.
is funny as hell. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back in about 2.5 minutes.
Is it done? Did I do it? Did I win?
You did it! You're done! You won!
I won!
You won!
You're listening to Q Talk America.
Educates, syncopates, radio communicates, radio, the sound of year-round pleasure.
Yeah, she doesn't know anything. That's the way to do it. Oh, she's apparently redefining R&B. Good for her. Proud of her. Looks like, what's her name? Chrissy Metz? Who's Kate from This Is Us? Looks like her. Looks like her. No. It was like rockabilly glasses. Oh, there's a headline. It says we have to get this clear. Katie is not a man. Good to know. That's what we were just talking about. Yeah. We have to get this clear. Katie is not a man. Good for her.
This is the Q Talk America Radio Network.
Oh, for crying out loud. There's so much happening. What? We've lost our entire mind. It's all good.
10 days of turkey can begin then.
10 days of turkey can begin wherever the hell you want.
I know, but we're planning it
I gotcha.
during the breaks.
Oh, I see.
Because we have to have one of the days here. And I miss it, but now I won't because we're
So
going
we're
to do
gonna
it
celebrate Thanksgiving here on the show
on the 19th. We
the
just
19th.
decided.
Oh, glad I was part of that meeting.
Well, you were
You were here.
I was here, but I wasn't listening.
because you didn't listen or vote.
Yo,
Listen,
see,
just
voting
because you
matters.
don't- Voting matters.
All right, so our Thanksgiving food extravaganza show will be on the 19th.
That's perfect because that leaves actually about 10 days to Thanksgiving.
And then are you in town? Are you in town like on the 24th? That Sunday before I leave?
I am, but I'm working.
Oh, you are working.
Yeah.
Because we were going to try to do. Mom wants to do because she's going to cook Thanksgiving food no matter whatever, and she should. I mean, everybody should. Whoever wants to cook it, cook it. But we were thinking we'd do a little mini Thanksgiving at her place on that Sunday.
I can come before work.
But maybe if that'll work because
Yeah.
we'd be in the late afternoon before you could usually go in at 7.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So
Oh, that'd be lovely.
We'll make that all work out together, and then you could take a plate with you to work and eat it later too, because that's what you do. Oh my gosh, let's get through this. Well, Chastity Patterson lost her father 4 years ago, and even though he had passed, she continued to text her father's number with various life updates and other messages. Well, the night before the anniversary of her father's death, Patterson did as she's done numerous times before and sent a text to her dad's phone. What made this time so different was that the person on the other end actually responded to her. He said his name was Brad and that he's been receiving Patterson's messages for the past 4 years. What made the moment even more special is that the two were found to be bonded in tragedy. Brad lost his daughter in a car wreck in August of 14. He told Patterson that her messages had kept him alive during that past 4 years. He told Patterson he had not reached out before because he didn't want to break her heart. Brad then ended the message by saying that he wished that his little girl would have become the woman that Patterson has become and that he is so proud of her for all that she's done. Patterson shared the messages to Facebook, and the post was quickly shared by thousands of people. It was, if you find the post on Facebook about this, it was really cool, the messages that they sent back and forth, because again, every little life thing that she did, she sent, and he just kind of just kept them, and then it's very touching that to something, because normally you send a text message to somebody who's got an old phone number and you're like, the fuck is this?
Yeah.
But what was it?
But some people are more compassionate than we are. Is what
Was
you're
it
saying?
2 years ago, 3 years ago? It was the woman who received a text message from the guys, and it was a wrong number, but she invited him to Christmas or Thanksgiving dinner,
Yeah,
and they
there's
just
that.
keep doing it.
And then there was the bachelor party guy.
Oh, that's right. We did a story about
the
that.
bachelor party
Yeah.
guy was
That's-
funny.
And then
was
there's
funny.
there's all the celebrity number neighbors. Have you seen all those?
Like by one digit, you're different
Right,
from
you
somebody.
just change your number one digit and text them and be like, "Hey, number neighbor."
I got
Oh, I've
that.
never
People
heard of
people get
that.
like famous people. Yeah,
I've never heard of that.
I think the Bill Clinton one was bullshit, but it was still a really cute story.
Okay.
I got that text message.
Did you get a number neighbor text message?
Yeah.
Did you answer?
No.
Damn it, Al.
Got that fucking freak.
God damn it, Al. This is why we
I might
can't
have just
have
said
nice
hi
things.
and left it at that.
That's why we
No,
can't.
I've never done that. Never even heard of it.
Nobody wants to be my number neighbor. I'm
Well, I
sad.
just heard of it now. If I'd known then, I might have said something like, "Want a hand job?"
That seems a little forward.
That's a little
Feel
more
like
than a
just
number.
texting
Reel
somebody
that back
don't
a little
know.
bit.
That's a little
Reel
more
it
than a
in.
number, neighbor.
Reel it in.
Reel it in. Reel it in.
In other news,
Yes.
the end of daylight saving time isn't just bringing darker days. It has also officially kicked off what is apparently called cuffing season.
Okay.
I know. This is the time of year when singles get into temporary relationships because it's cold outside.
Yes.
This is not a problem we have in Arizona, but this one focuses on
chilly
Chicago.
last week.
And Christmas is coming because you don't want to.
Right, you don't want to be alone for the holidays. Well, using data from its annual Singles in America survey, Match.com compiled a list of which U.S. cities have the best and worst cuffing seasons. I'm not sure what qualifies best and what qualifies worst.
But we're about to find out.
We're gonna
We're
find
going
out.
to find
Thank
out
you.
because
Yes.
I only read the beginning of the article.
It's a mystery to all of us
Thorough,
at this
yeah.
point.
It is based on the city's interest in casual dating as well as whether people in that city are having a lot of or a little bit of sex. Chicago ranks 4th on the list of top 10 cities having the most sex and looking to casually date, thus making it one of the best places to be cuffed
Cuffed.
during the fall and winter months.
That sounds like something that happens at a leather bar.
Right.
It sure does. Indianapolis took the number 1 spot because I can't imagine what else there is to do
What
in
else is there to
Indianapolis.
do in Indiana?
Wow.
San Diego and Denver, 2nd and 3rd, respectively.
Yeah, that's San Diego.
Memphis
It's the gays. There you
Rounds
go.
well, yeah, that is the case. Memphis rounds out the top 5, and Columbus, Ohio, also representing the Midwest on the list in the 8th spot.
Wow.
I know. If you're trying to hook up for the winter,
Cuffing.
move to these cities, that's for sure. More than 5,000 singles throughout the United States were surveyed for the Singles in America survey, and the people varied in age, ethnicity, income, and backgrounds. Chicago matchmaker Steph Safran, founder of Steph in the City,
Original.
Yep. Says that
That's
Chicago likely placed high on the list because it's a large city with a lot of options that people want to explore. She says the pressure is off on getting married at a younger age than a smaller city might have. You might feel more pressure in a small city than you do in Chicago. So you can just fuck a lot of people. I'm ad-libbing, obviously.
Museum to museum.
Right.
Meet you at the Bean. Chicago reference.
Steph
there,
in the
people.
city also thinks that dating apps have made it easier for people to have more sex. She says it's not so hard to find a hookup. You can do anything without anyone knowing. Good for you, Steph.
I hope the other
Proud of
person you're
her.
having sex with knows.
Completely anonymous. They don't even have to be there.
No.
No, I feel like they should know. I feel like they should at least be aware that it's happening.
It started off as a masturbating in the corner and turned into a Me Too moment. Completely unintentionally.
I'm certainly not
comment
going to crash
traveled-
any of your lunch dates anymore.
Now, I missed a portion of this story or
Yes,
a fact.
please tell me.
So the cuffing is only happening because it's cooler weather or because of
It's
the holidays?
In the winter time.
It is in the cooler months.
Because San
Okay.
Diego doesn't really qualify.
No.
They're just horny.
I guess. I don't know.
Well, again,
I don't
I
know.
always
it's
find.
seasonal, so it's a fall and winter relationship.
Well, right, because you always see all these people hook up and get in the fall and the winter and I didn't think it had anything to do with the chilliness. I thought it was all holiday bullshit because you want to have somebody buy you something for Christmas, go to dinner with Thanksgiving, celebrate New Year's with them, and then when the spring rolls around, nope, you're gonna go and you're
Right,
gonna play.
about the time Pride happens, you gotta break
yeah,
up so you can
gotta
hook
be
up
single
for the
again
summer. Right.
to find the new grass on the other
Cool
side.
for the summer.
And I'd be completely the opposite. I don't want to buy you anything or be chained to you for the whole fucking holiday. I want to have fun.
That's smart.
So
well,
stay single. You're doing good, Al.
Thank you.
there are a few
Right on
significant
track.
factors
Straight
that
down
can
the middle.
play into someone being in a cuffing season relationship. Perhaps there's a major age difference, location, or other career obligations.
Look up something.
Oh, if they're in another
A telling
location,
sign is
you
if
gotta
the
be getting
person-
it regularly.
A telling sign is if the person you're dating isn't talking about introductions to meaningful people in his or her life and just keeps you separate.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe
We've all been to that restaurant.
maybe you go do things for the holidays, but not with his friends and not with his family, and there's no discussion about taking things to the next level of seriousness. Perhaps you've been cuffed.
Are people reading this article like 10?
I don't know.
I feel like you know this at like the 7th grade on.
I feel like
So why are we going to the dance at a school we don't go to?
Because I don't want people to see me with you. I feel like that's my whole relationship in a nutshell. Why don't anybody know us together? Because
Right.
we don't like each other.
Right. See?
Urban Dictionary defines cuffing as the moment when people who would normally rather be single or promiscuous find themselves along with the rest of the world desiring to be tied down by a serious relationship.
Temporary insanity.
Christmas season.
Or cuffing is the act of getting handcuffs put upon you by a law enforcement officer.
And that's what I thought it was when I started reading this article. I was like, ooh, kinky article.
Some take it literally.
Whatever.
So I can't imagine why this story rings something deep inside of me, but an idyllic Italian town gives away homes for free after buildings left abandoned. Another key phrase in this whole story. Another Italian town has resorted to giving away historic buildings.
Wait, this has
for
happened more
free.
than once?
Yes.
And why do you still live here?
We don't know.
How do we apply?
Well, it's going to come up later.
Well, continue reading.
In order to attract new residents and revive its fortunes, Camerata in Sicily is the latest destination to lure inhabitants with the promise of complimentary housing.
Picture it. Sicily. It was the 20s. They gave me a free house.
They gave me a free house after more than 100 buildings in the historic center have been left abandoned. Vincenzo Giambroni, the mayor of Camerata, has convinced
Wouldn't that be Vincenzo?
Vincenzo, yes, it's one C, so she's correct, has convinced former owners of these buildings to give them to those who could breathe new life into the town. I can't stand to see these gorgeous old historical center empty and turn into a ruin it, and I can't stand it. It hurts me. So far, there are 12 empty homes up for grabs, with Giambroni hoping to add more in the near future. However, as with similar schemes, there are some conditions. Prospective owners must agree to renovate their new house within 3 years and present a full plan on how they'll refurbish the property.
Okay.
You have to give €5,000, which is about $6,000 deposit, but it is returnable when you complete the works.
Oh.
Okay.
The town itself is made up of red-hued stone dwellings surrounded by verdant fields with unbeatable views to the dramatic Mount Etna, an active volcano.
Mount Etna.
That sounds like a point against.
I'm still in.
The town prides itself on its hospitality, according to Giambroni, meaning a new resident should hopefully receive a warm welcome. Visitors and guests come first, even before our own family. Newcomers trigger change, innovation, new ideas. They revamp the local economy and kickstart a revolution. So there's another town up on the mainland of Italy, because this is in Sicily. And, I don't know. I guess you got to know somebody that can fix up a house.
I'm a hell of a sheetrocker.
Right. And you're just done.
Take me with you.
Your goal is the Renaissance. So it doesn't have to look fancy. It's got to look 400 years old.
Beat up that sheetrock a little bit. You'll
Yeah.
be fine.
I'm in.
How are you going to lose?
I can do a nice stucco finish.
So, yeah. So there's towns in Italy
Well,
where they're giving away
do it.
houses in the center.
Aren't there also places in
it.
the States here
And
doing
then
that?
for $6,000, you can have your $5,000 for, 3 years. Here's your money to
Right.
keep your deposit. I didn't fix anything. Does the toilet flush? Here's what I did. The toilet flushes. And I lived here and I supported all your local businesses. And I bought a couple of Afghans because it's really fucking cold in the winter.
Because I didn't fix the heater.
Because I didn't fix the heater. Right. So $6,000 to live for 3 years in the island of Sicily in the Mediterranean? No, I can't.
So the part of the story would change for you would be picture it Sicily 2022.
Now the 20s.
The 20s.
Right. As opposed to
1922.
1922.
Yeah.
You'd be an updated Sophia.
Picture
She's
it.
now,
Sicily.
I know we're finally
22.
to a decade we can call. Because the aughts, no.
No.
The 10s, nah.
Stupid.
No story sounds good. Remember back in the aughts?
Yeah.
You're an asshole.
Yeah. Or
Not
Just
you,
older.
not you.
Just older.
But the person
or
who...
you're 110.
Right, exactly. I'm not dead. As soon as you say
Back
the
in
aughts,
aught six,
no one likes
nobody,
you.
no.
No one likes you. Let's just say it.
Because you know how to use ought. Like
Yeah.
you're a double knot spy. Like
But
Jethro.
like they're never going to
Like
have
they're my
CNN the
great-grandfather.
aughts. No, CNN's not doing
God,
that
I hope
special.
I think they already did.
Now they've only made it to the 90s.
I don't think that's
Oh,
correct.
no, they've not.
Did they make it to the...
Oh,
I think they went all the way up to
2000s,
2009.
Yeah,
So what was it
2000s.
called?
The 2000s.
Oh, okay, I'll give you the 2000s. But then it
Yeah.
sounds like 100 years.
Felt like 100 years.
Did.
We all lived through it.
Did we?
Well, three of us.
Marnie's not here.
She's fighting her own battles. Well, all it took for one fugitive in Illinois to turn himself in was a little photo manipulation. WBBM TV in Chicago reports that Kankakee County Sheriff's Department, well, they post notices about fugitives on their Facebook page every Wednesday. Well, guess what? Last Wednesday was the Wednesday before Halloween. This week, the department posted a picture of Brandon W. Conti, 25 years old, who was wanted for failure to appear on a drunk driving charge. Conti commented on the post and asked, "Hey, where's my costume?" Well, sheriff's office then edited the photo and added a little sailor suit and a hat that said, "Ahoy." An officer wrote, "Well, we held up our bargain. You hold up yours." Conti replied with laughing emojis, noting that he would turn himself in before noon the next day and asked the police have the paperwork done and ready. The department confirms that Conti subsequently turned himself in. Here is
You
the...
get to ask?
Well, apparently that's how they do it there in Illinois. So there's the first one. That's what they want, wanted fugitive. There's this thing. So then they went back and doctored it up, and there it is.
Oh, that's just friendly.
Yeah, so they gave him a little deal there, and he turned himself in, and all was well.
I have one follow-up question.
Yes, ma'am.
Does Dion Brown know about this site?
Is he cute enough to make a Foxy Felon?
The Foxy Friday fugitive felon,
Foxy Felon Fridays.
whatever that is. I don't know about that.
I feel like we should forward this article to Dion
Maybe.
so that he can source some of his Foxy Felons from
Illinois.
Illinois.
Yes, I don't even know where the Kankakee County is. I don't know what that's close to. Is
I don't know
the
either.
The greater Chicago area? Because that's Clark.
But I don't know how foxy their felons are either.
Well,
I
that's
feel
true.
like we should send a correspondent.
One, we should send Dion Brown
Dion
to
Brown.
Kankakee County
He
to
loves to
investigate.
travel.
Foxy felon aficionado.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And stalker.
And I have to say, he's quite often not wrong.
No, he's
No, his Foxy
Spot
Felons.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
And I do enjoy that he finds the previous mugshots so he can then show the progression of how they've gone from They were drunk. They were high. Now they're on meth. Now they're on heroin.
Now it's murder.
Right now, it's gone downhill. He really shows all of the mug shots.
It's a highlight of my Friday. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, it's a good time.
I look forward every Friday.
I don't know it's Friday till I
Till you
scroll
see
down
that.
and see that, and I'm like, oh yeah, I have a burrito, and there's my felon.
For those
I
of
need
you
horoscopes from Smashley. I need Foxy
Right?
Felons from Dion.
Yeah, she's got to tell us
I
how
need
it
the
world.
plasma update from Jacob with a K, and that's my whole.
For those of you
social
listening that
media.
don't understand, we have a friend here in town who has found it very entertaining for himself and for all of us to go on our Maricopa County website where they post all of the mugshots from the previous week, and he finds the ones that are deemed the hottest ones, and then he posts a Foxy
He does
Felon.
have kind of a type.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
have a
he
type.
does, yeah.
Don't we all?
I mean,
He has a Foxy
And I don't
Felon
disagree with that.
Friday where he explains what they were arrested for, and he adds these wonderful, charming stories to what they've done and what are the words?
How they've strayed.
They've strayed.
How they've strayed.
Yes, all
It's
of
a
them
lot of fun.
they're misdemeanors, and they've been arrested for mischief and
Such mischief.
stuff. It's
And he
just very
describes
cute.
their hairs and their floppy doos. It's very funny.
And then finds the older mugshots if they've got them, and then posts it so you can see how they've progressed. It's very cute.
They've made their way through the system.
well, a Louisiana man is now making his way through the system after stealing an electric-powered shopping cart from Walmart to avoid getting a DUI. Seems smart to me.
Oh, I have a story. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Bryce Kendall Williams, 32, was charged with felony unauthorized use of a movable
Oh, I've not heard of that one.
after driving the motorized shopping cart over half a mile away from one bar to another.
Now that really
Girl.
just is that's really good.
This is
on
good
the cart
thinking.
people.
This is-
Whoever builds those carts, it's a half a mile
Honest to God, I thought they would have killed by the time they ended the,
into
exited
the parking lot.
Right. I thought they'd be a kill switch on those fuckers.
No
but
shit. I mean,
Went
it's
half a
slow
mile.
as hell, but you'll get there.
Well,
Event someday.
a deputy with the sheriff's office responded to a bar in Houma, Louisiana, about 12:30 a.m. on Sunday after receiving a complaint about someone arriving to the bar in a shopping cart, according to the statement. The town is about 60 miles southwest of New Orleans,
Nolans.
When the deputy arrived, he found the shopping cart parked between two cars in the bar's parking lot.
Properly parked.
Properly. That
Appropriately
is just
parked.
nice.
Not parallel parked, but parked. Williams told the responding deputy that he was at a different bar and thought that if he drove his car, he'd get charged with a DUI. The sheriff. Instead, he opted to steal the electric shopping cart, which is meant for disabled people. I think being drunk is a disability.
It's a,
Disability.
he was
Honest to God.
disabled.
Disability, yes.
Right.
And he
Judges
drove it to a
agree.
different car.
Yes.
Well, his bond has been set at $2,500,
It's
and it has not
excessive.
been determined whether he has legal representation at this time.
But he,
I'm ruling him disabled.
I give it to him. I think let him off. I mean, he was smart enough to not drive.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much damage you can do running those little carts on. Was he on the road or was he on a sidewalk?
Listen, you've never had one of them run into your goddamn ankles.
Well, no, I've not.
In the
Oh,
fucking
ouch, but
pasta
not
aisle.
dead. Yeah.
Right.
In the pasta aisle.
In the pasta
Those
aisle.
fuckers are mean.
Yeah.
Motherfucker ran me down. I'm just trying to buy some macaroni.
Yeah.
Side note on scooters, that was one thing I did this weekend that I did not expect to have
Rode
be part
in a
of my
scooter
life.
to the grocery store.
No.
Scooter.
Ricardo and I walked to we went to only the last 2 hours of Rainbows Festival because we're like, we'll go. And then I realized the second I got there, I
didn't
know
wanna
why
be
I don't
there?
want to go because I saw immediately like 5 people that said hi to me that I don't even care about ever seeing again in my life. Anywho, so we made it through it, said
feel
hi
like
to
that list is
people.
getting long.
Oh, it's getting hugely long. Trust me, north of Phoenix, 80 or 90 miles, it sounded really good. But it's going to be a commute for
Hugger
you
to
guys.
Electric Boogaloo over
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. So anyway, as we left, we met up with David Allen. David, remember the
Yeah.
friend that came in and sat in the corner and watched the
Off
show one
camera,
night?
the
Off
judge.
camera, the
Sure.
judge. Yeah.
Yes.
Ran into him. So
Very judgy.
So as we were walking back and we
Rude.
decided to go to Rebar, we come across in the parking lot or in the sidewalk, somebody had left a scooter on. They just walked away from it. It was an abandoned scooter that still was operational.
What's the 10 code for that?
It was huh?
Scooter down. Scooter down.
I don't know what it is.
We got a 1046.
I don't know what it is. But anyway, the scooter was left to go, and he's like, well, anybody could just take it and ride it. I'm like, no. So he jumped on it and did it, and I'm like, well, I've never ridden one. Like, I didn't think that they were that
Oh.
robust.
Very exciting.
I really thought they were just 2 little wheels on a piece of wood and crap, right? Oh my God, those little sumbitches can hustle. They're
Oh, the little bird scooters.
yeah, those. The electric thing. So you just you push off, you hit the button. 15 miles an hour is really fast on a sidewalk.
with no safety mechanisms
Yeah.
at all.
Well, you
Not
got
a helmet,
you
not
got
a
a brake.
not a wrist brace, not a nothing.
But it was
gotta
fantastic.
brake,
I
yeah.
was really surprised. So we rode it, or I rode it up the sidewalk, and then I didn't want to see how off-road was going, so I went across a gravel parking lot, and it
my
just
gosh.
tore through it. Finally, we took it back and dropped it off at a designated scooter spot. Then he had the app on his phone, so then he took the picture of the QR code, submitted it to them. It says, hey, whoever left it unattended on a sidewalk, and you have to, I guess you take a picture and you show them that it is parked properly.
Correct.
And then, whoever the other person is gets dinged for leaving it where they did.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Number one. Number two, you're just a good Samaritan who, and he, I guess, because he has an account with it, I guess you do that or where they give you credits towards the future rides or
Oh,
whatever.
that's good.
So I think it was called Sing or Spin? No, Spin. I think Spin is the name of the one I was doing. But I
think those are affiliated with Uber.
well, they were fantastic little boogers.
It's like 4 main companies. There's Lyft, and they all say Lyft on them. The Jump is the bikes, and they're the ones that are associated with Uber, and I think the Spin ones are too. And then there's Lime, which is its own company, and then there's Bird.
It was Spin. That's the one, because I put the app on my phone in case I need to future do that. But I was astounded that it
I
actually
can't wait to see you scootering somewhere.
It took. What I was really surprised with is that little son of a gun has got such a powerful battery in it that I weigh 280, and it just launched me off like nothing. I was like, wow.
Yeah,
and I don't know how
they're
long
zippy.
you can go on it.
Flying high.
I almost, when we left Rebar, they hadn't shut it off. Whoever controls those scooters, and I was like, I wonder if I can make it to Stacy's. I wonder how far I can go.
I bet you could.
But I opted not to. I felt
Yeah, because
smarter.
when they stop hard.
Right, and I'm like, no, we're not going to do it.
When you leave the
designated,
designated area.
So, no, but it was very interesting. I'd never run one. I was like, okay. Now, I do understand why they would be annoying left all over the goddamn city because literally it was blocking a sidewalk when we came upon it. So.
The last time I was in San Diego, every morning some dude that I think was a resident would go up and down the boardwalk there and pick these fucking scooters up and fling them into the sand. Like he was just winging them. Just so mad. And he would go for a mile. He'd go all the way down just flinging them. Like people hate them.
Oh.
I thought they were lovely. I rode them everywhere. Fuck them.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
are if you. But it's like the bikes because my friend lived at 44th Street and Camelback, and like the first time I went to his apartment complex, I'm like, are these bikes decoration? Like, is this part of the decor
The
of your
charm of the area.
Yeah, like are they decorating? Because you never know what they're gonna have. Is like, and he's like, no, he's like, those are those stupid ass fucking rental bikes that you don't have to take back to the station and you leave them everywhere. And then tomorrow somebody's going to load jack them, find out where they are and picks them up and puts them back where they go. I'm like, so you've got like 8 bikes outside? And he's
annoying.
like, oh my God. He's like, they're everywhere. And then they were the orange ones. And then I found out like San Diego passed laws against them. Phoenix passed laws against them of like, no, you need somewhere
We
for
have
those
to
to go.
regulate
They
this a
need a
little bit, yeah.
home. Because those bikes were like, you had a party and like there'd be 12 bikes outside your house. And then they would just leave them there.
Right.
Yeah, they used to leave them outside the bar. We used to have to call and say, hey,
Yep.
send one of your low jackers.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, a couple years ago, there was one out here in their street, and it was there for several days. And I kept bitching about it. And finally, they came and picked it up. But
Yeah.
it's the company, they were the yellow bikes. Occasionally, you'll still see one.
It might be yellow or orange.
Well,
I
the
can't
people
remember.
riding, that company was called OSO. OSO is the one that got kicked out of Phoenix. And the funny thing is, you'll still see people riding them that broke the whatever locking mechanism off.
Ne'er-do-wells, yeah.
And they're riding them all over. But, they got completely kicked out of Phoenix for it because, again, they were everywhere like litter.
Yeah.
So I do have a story.
Go right
I
ahead.
don't know whose turn it is.
Make it happen.
Whose
It
turn
can
is
be
it?
yours now. Go ahead.
No, is it yours?
I have no idea.
It was already hers.
Oh, I
I
think
don't
that
know.
was me. I think we started with that with me.
We did.
Oh, good. Well, Monica Lewinsky and the producers of Catfish are joining together for an HBO Max public shaming documentary. Max Joseph, who did the documentary Catfish, which wasn't another one of those documentaries that was not supposed to be about catfishing, because catfishing wasn't a thing yet, and then it turns out to be. Have you ever seen Catfish, the documentary, not the
I have
TV
not.
series?
No?
I've seen neither, as it turns out.
Oh, my gosh. Let it out, Al.
I know what catfishing is. I know that one guy's girlfriend died that wasn't even a person.
Yes. So
Yeah.
that's him.
Can you be cuffed and catfished at the same time?
Oh, can you catfish somebody into a cuffing relationship?
Oh,
I feel like yes.
so
And I
many
think that's how
options.
you get catfished, is that you're like, oh, I want a boyfriend for the holidays. I mean, I'll never meet them because they're only online and they seem to always be busy on the days that I'm free or their mom is sick or they're across the street.
I think I'm in that
So
relationship
Max
right
Joseph,
now.
if you, I think it's on Netflix. I cannot remember where that documentary came from, but he and my favorite thing with documentaries is when they're about one thing, but then through the course of shooting, it becomes about another.
That family one you keep talking about.
Yeah, Capturing the Freedmans.
Yeah.
So this one, I can't remember what it's about, but he ends up in a relationship and having this whole like thing going on with this young woman who's got a disease and they're trying to help her, and then they find out that she does not exist. And through the course of this documentary, which is really about like peanuts being grown in Georgia, it turned
A Jimmy Carter story.
the Jimmy Carter.
Oh no, we made him sell his farm.
Yeah, the Jimmy and Rosalind Russell story. Turns out Amy Carter's a bitch. But just kidding. I feel like it's been like 40 years since we had a good Amy Carter joke.
I didn't know there were any good Amy Carter.
Oh, remember how awful they were to her on SNL?
Oh, they were awful. No.
Awful to her. So, anyways, the Unlikely Duo have partnered with production company Six West on a new feature documentary called 15 Minutes of Shame, which HBO Max announced Monday, which was last Monday. It has acquired the rights to distribute via its subscription streaming service next year. The film, directed by Joseph, who executive produced alongside Lewinsky, will follow the collaborators as they delve into contemporary culture's obsession with public shaming via social experiments, examinations of social behavior, and to focus on individuals who've been publicly shamed. Bullies, bystanders, the media, psychologists, politicians, and experts will also go under the microscope for the project as well. Lewinsky is an anti-bullying activist with an unparalleled authority, making her the perfect partner for this project. And Max's strong advocacy for social justice and distinctive storytelling make him particularly well suited to explore this complex modern phenomenon. Lewinsky has been very open about her bout with public shaming and cyberbullying. And then on this topic of like picking a new person each week to publicly shame, whether they need to be or not, and you should be shaming the NFL if you're not, get on that one. The NFL is definitely in the wrong, and we are definitely on Mike Pence's side on this one. How did that happen?
That's a bad place to be.
It's a bad place to be, but it is.
Is Mother okay with this?
Mother's just enjoying the quiet irony of the NBA just falling on the sword over cash and doing the wrong thing. But it's interesting. And then Obama did a speech last week about the woke culture and shaming of people for mild transgressions.
Yeah.
And letting everyone be a little bit different. And it was very interesting. And he got a really funny shout out on SNL as SNL told a joke that didn't just die on the vine. I think it was a little bit of an experiment. Like, how far can I go in this joke and then call it off? And everyone will know what I meant, but I never said the joke. Like, how far can I go?
But I still get the reaction.
And I mean, the gasps and boos from the audience, and then like Michael Che got like publicly shamed on the internet, and he.
I did see something about that.
And he never finished the joke. He just alluded to what happens when old men move to wherever Caitlyn Jenner moved to, and it was just along the lines of this person's. You know, the last time someone did this, they became a woman. And it was pointed and it was funny, and he like gave you enough to hang himself with, and then he stopped mid-joke and just laughed at the audience like, I never said it. Everything
But you
from
all
there,
thought it.
But all of you went there
Everybody
on your
went there,
own.
yeah.
You went there on your own, and you booed at a joke that was never told.
So you can lead a horse to water.
Yeah, it was so meta and so lovely. And then one of the people that came out and did a guest commentary was like, Obama's right. Woke culture has gone way too far.
Way too far.
I mean, our Chinese jokes are still offensive, but
Obama's always right.
it was very interesting. SNL has been very. I've caught up almost. I think I have one more week to watch, but they're on it. Like this year, they're 4 or 5 episodes in, all solid. Like solidly funny, good hosts, Chance the Rapper, I don't know who he is, but I'm a fan now. Like,
I've known of him for a while, but again, couldn't tell anything.
funny
he does.
guest, great musical guest. Like he was the host and the musical guest. He did a double duty, and he was terrific. Like every skit was good. And sometimes when they have people on, there's less skits and more pre-tape stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought his was like live comedy heavy. It was the first time I thought they really went with let this guy shine. Like, I think Ariana Grande was the last time I really thought that they like, okay, we want to explore like that
what she can do.
She's good at this. Like let her do it. And like very low on cue cards. It wasn't like, it's so embarrassing when like theater people or like, what's his butt? Christopher Walken. He's on there all the time, but all he does is read the cue cards, and it's like, oh,
Right, it
you're
is.
terrible. So it was very good. Like, again, I don't know this guy, but I'm a big fan. Like, both songs were good. Every skit, almost every skit was funny. If there was a down one, I don't remember it.
Okay.
But
I have them recorded. I really haven't watched any of them.
I missed a long time. I just started like back, and now I'm trying to catch up with all the ones that I've missed. And I'm like, okay, this was a genuinely enjoyable hour and 5 minutes of my life. Like I didn't sit there going, oh, skit should have ended.
Yeah, I don't watch a lot of SNL. I never have though. Like, it's always been like hit or miss for me, and every once in a while I'll catch something or
I don't want.
You can get all the same places with somebody putting a skit there. If you find it, Google it and watch it, or maybe we can play it. Oscar,
we probably can't.
The origin story of Oscar the Grouch.
Mm-hmm.
Find that and watch it. It's the guy it's the sheriff from Stranger Things, and they do it like the Joker, but it's the origin story of Oscar the Grouch, and it's brilliant satire, like absolutely phenomenal.
Right on.
I usually with SNL, I rarely watch. I mean, usually I never like the musical guest, hardly ever, because it's younger than me that I want to care for. I will watch the open, and I live for Weekend Update. I mean, that's really all I care about.
Most of the new music I've bought in the last 10 years has been from SNL guests.
Oh, cool.
That I'll be like, yep, I like that song. Like that Shawn Mendes that I'm in love with. I only know him from I've never seen him anywhere but SNL.
Oh, you haven't seen his underwear commercials?
No, but I want to, because he's a hot hottie.
Let me pull those up. You go right ahead. Anybody else got another story? I got one more about. Well, I'll just tell it.
Yeah,
it's your turn. I got nothing.
Police are searching for a man who walked into a bank in Nebraska this week and tried to open a checking account. Well, guess what he had? A fake $1 million bill.
$1 million bill.
Staff at the Pinnacle Bank branch in Lincoln, Nebraska, reported the Monday morning incident to police. The Lincoln Journal-Star reports that bank employees say the man was adamant that the bill was real, despite the teller's attempts to convince him otherwise. The man eventually left with the bill, but without a new bank account. Police are reviewing surveillance video and trying to identify the man. Police say they simply want to check on his welfare and make sure that he is actually not the victim of a crime. The largest denomination, for those of you wondering, the largest denomination note ever issued for public circulation is the $10,000 bill. And I don't even know who's on the $10,000 bill.
Which is still a lot. Find out.
Now, that is an awful lot.
Yeah.
Is there still a $1,000 bill?
I believe there are. Honestly, I don't really have a lot of time to see those, so I don't know.
I've never seen one. I don't know why I would ever see one.
I believe I did see a $1,000 bill when I was younger.
10 Benjamin to do the job.
Mom will
a
probably
$1,000
remember this time frame because it was she was there. My grandparents owned a nightclub, and I remember being in the office with my grandfather, and he had the safe was there, and they do all the money and stuff. And I remember once him handing me a stack of money. And he just was just thinking, well, hey, have you ever held this much money before or whatever? And I held, and I believe that there were $1,000 bills in it, but this is the 70s back in the day. And I remember carrying the money for them when they would do bank drops, like at night, because I would ride with Grandma. Grandpa would have the cash, and she'd follow him with her gun.
Oh, wow.
That's how they used to do bank drops in the middle of the night.
I have information.
Oh, Kat Carlson, breaking news.
The $10,000 bill features a portrait of President Lincoln's Secretary of the Treasury, Salmon P. Chase. Was the highest denomination of U.S. currency ever to publicly circulate, although a $100,000 bill featuring the portrait of Woodrow Wilson was issued. Its purpose was to transfer funds between the Federal Reserve banks and not to pass in retail transactions. Since 1969, the highest denomination note issued in the U.S. has been the $100 bill.
Oh.
Now, the $1,000 bill features Grover Cleveland.
I did know that. Gun to my head, I would have come up with
So
that.
C notes that's really all there is anymore.
That's it.
Got it.
Benjamins.
And there was never a $500 bill? Just went 100, 1,000?
Correct.
Okay. Gun to my
to
head.
the best of my Googling, correct.
Because Grant is on the 50, right?
Yes.
Grant is
Right,
on the
so-
50, and I did know that Cleveland was on a money note.
And there it is.
Look at us learning actual things, Kat.
Oh, wait. Perhaps there is a $500 bill. Stand by. Click it.
Look at.
I'm so tired of this machine.
Oh, by the way, Kat's getting a new machine. For those of you wondering.
And this one's going to be wiped clean, and it'll be fast, fast, fast again, because it's just trying to do too much shit.
Got it. Going to restore it back to factory settings.
Correct, because it was lightning fast when I got it, and now there's just too much
Sure
background
you-
bullshit
So
on
the
it.
$500 bill did exist.
Yes.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. First one wins.
Well, neither one of you got it. So you're still trying to figure it all out.
Features a portrait of McKinley on the front. The last $500 bill rolled off the presses in 1945 and was formally discontinued 24 years later in 1969 when they decided hundos are plenty. These people are going to be poor forever. We don't need
Right.
this much
We've already
money.
got them pigeonholed, so leave them alone.
And there it is.
Yep.
And
Well,
there you
and then
have it.
obviously with all of the abilities with all the electronic transfers, the necessity for the larger bills has just subsided.
Yeah, just
You
like-
know, the transfers that you were talking about between institutions is just
Yeah, nobody has to walk across
Right.
the street with that one bill anymore.
right.
Right.
Will you take a check?
I will not. I do have Venmo, however.
Yeah.
Feel free to send as much money as you like that way.
Exact.
Although there's a limit on those two. But again, don't have that much money. I don't know
Right.
what that
Yeah,
limit
I'm never
is.
going to hit that
I'm
threshold.
probably not gonna.
No.
So Joe has sent us a link
What is the link?
for all the things for 5K, 10K, 100K bills.
That feels like too much information, Joe. Like, God damn it. We don't need all the information. What are we doing next? What are we doing now? What's going on?
Well, I think I've hit all my
the-
stories. I think is that enough for that, or do we have anything else you want to? I'm trying to think. Was there anything else they wanted to talk about there? No. Dun, dun, dun. No. Thanksgiving on the 19th in studio. Talked about scooters. I made notes about Michael Che and the origin of Oscar the Grouch for later viewing.
Well, hey, then you should watch the Joker thing with Oscar the Grouch.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
That's
good, good.
exactly the origin of Oscar the Grouch. Was it SNL?
Yeah, SNL. Brilliant. No, there's no music. There's no music. I don't know how they would get us on that, but because there's no music in it at all. But it's just
Oh, I'm sure. No,
genius.
It's because it's got a digital signature of them talking. I guarantee you that. My gosh, what should we? Oh, I guess we'll.
What should we do next, kids?
Well, entertainment's easy because there's only a couple things to talk about.
I feel like it's gonna be a short show.
Yeah, it's true too.
Well, then let's. I gotta add the. We have to break up these things. So I have to do this. So much. Any other? What was the link that? Oh, you already said what the link.
It was
you said
about the
was.
monies. Yeah, there's interesting things if you want to go look up like the history of money, because apparently there was a $500 bill in like 1869 that featured John Quincy Adams. Joseph Mansfield is a person that was on money for I don't know why.
Wow, I've
Joseph,
never heard of him.
I haven't
Jane's
either.
uncle, maybe, I don't know.
Because I think, and this is a guess, and we should really look this up, but I think that the chase that's on the Abraham Lincoln's guy, I think that's Chase Manhattan. I think his name still stays with us. I think he's the founder of Chase Bank. The guy that was on the bill.
I thought J.P. Morgan.
J.P. Morgan Chase was.
No,
a
those are two
person.
different companies. There's Chase
Stand by.
Manhattan and there's J.P. Morgan, and they became. And I'll go to Chase Manhattan, where I got me a friend. They're two. J.P. Morgan is not Chase. At some point in our lifetimes or before, they combined.
What would it be in the early 1900s?
Interesting.
No, J.P. Morgan Chase is in our lifetimes. Like that's in the last 20 years. J.P. Morgan bought Chase very recently.
Let's see what Wikipedia has to say.
Chase
Because
Manhattan.
Now we're just
honestly,
Googling shit and
honestly,
talking
I
about
always
it
thought
on
when I
here.
watched the Discovery Channel things about how the beginnings of America, where it talks about how Standard Oil was broken up and made all the different things, and Chase is in it, and all the big
So
those names.
Chase is not in it.
Chase traces its history back to the founding of the Manhattan Company by Aaron Burr
Because I'll go to Chase Manhattan, where I got
on
me a friend. It's
September
not part
1st,
of J.P. Morgan.
1979 on Wall Street. Chase National Bank was formed by John Thompson, is named after former U.S. Treasury Secretary and Chief Justice Salmon P. Chase.
Salmon P. Chase. Yeah.
Merger as Chase Manhattan Bank happened in the 50s. Mergers with Chemical and J.P. Morgan happened in the 90s.
Very recent.
So you started Chase Manhattan, and then you had the Chemical Bank and the Chase Manhattan Bank, which then gave birth to the Bank of Manhattan and Chase National Bank of the City of New York. Both of those gonzo. Back it up. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, I had a feeling that Chase
And then they bought
is
Bank
the Chase that
One.
we all still use today.
And then they bought
but
Washington
no one
Mutual.
knows what name he's under.
And then there's a whole paragraph about Nazis, so probably we shouldn't bank at Chase.
Which reminds me of something I want to talk to you about in
I mean,
entertainment.
the Nazis can really slip in. You just never want to dig too deep. They're
Blah, blah,
coming
blah,
up.
Nazis.
Yeah. Well, entertainment, we're not even going to scream it. Just
Fair.
a couple things. We have a movie that Kat and I saw that I feel like we need to discuss
We
in
should
public.
It's so much fun.
In front of people. And then I have a book recommendation that I have just been obsessed with for the last 3 days.
I
Spectacular
need to
reading.
read faster.
And
Okay, bring it up Amazon.
I'll open up the page and see what else is in here, but I think that might be it.
Not a lot. Oh my god, the Amazon deal of the day is an old school thermos and lunchbox.
Oh, who's on the what kind of lunchbox?
Like the Stanley drinkware, like the old
Oh,
Stanley
okay.
kind, yeah.
Oh, I love the plaid one.
Yeah.
We'll order
No, this is
something
the
and
green
talk about it
one.
on the other side. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
Stick 'em up. This is a holdup. Nobody move but me.
You're listening to Q Talk America. This is the Q Talk America Radio Network.
I get Pop TV, yes.
Oh, we're back. It's segment 3, not hour 3, because we're running very early tonight, but it's all
Round
right.
and round she
I feel like the
goes.
show's going to end a little early, but that's okay. We can, we'll get through it together. It's the show. It's Q Talk America on
It's like
a
daylight savings
Tuesday.
time.
It
of this
is.
show. You got an hour back.
You're welcome.
You're
Oh my
welcome.
gosh.
Yes.
Look at-
It's Kat Carlson, Al Perkins, and myself. Marnie has the night off, and we are, we've talked about all kinds of exciting things. If you want to find out about them, go to the website. Get show 400A and B, and this will be C. So,
Are you
can follow-
caught up on downloading?
Absolutely.
The shows?
By the way, if you haven't noticed, your iTunes is all caught up and refreshed.
I did have
All of
someone
that. So
tell
all
me.
the people out there All your
of you.
iTunes
All of
feeds,
you.
Everything has been updated and done.
Actually, it turns out, so I have a customer at the bar that recently found out about the show and wanted to listen, but
Yeah.
wanted to listen to something recent. So that's why I've been asking about the iTunes lately, because he comes in and pesters me, right? So he comes in last week, and he says, "Oh, your show finally updated." And I said, "Oh, that's wonderful, fantastic." And so then he proceeded to regale me with this tale of how he was listening to the podcast in bed, and then found himself feeling a little bit uncomfortable because we've never interacted outside of the bar, and now suddenly I'm in bed with him.
Wow.
You're talking him to sleep.
Whatever.
I know, and he's like, and not in any kind of creepy way. He's just kind of is one of those people that observes things in a really
weird.
interesting way.
Yeah.
And he's delightful. I love when he comes in, and I like talking to him a whole lot. But yeah, he was just telling me, he's like, he says, I wasn't sure how I felt about that.
That's so odd.
Being
That's
in such a personal space.
Yeah.
When I only know you as
Right.
3 feet away from me
But
standing
now
behind
he
the
knows
bar.
vaguely more about you because you never know what you and Marty don't know what you did last week. So
Right.
there's
Knows nothing else about, because I don't do anything.
Oh, and he'll listen to that.
And he'll listen to that, I hope.
Hi.
Or he'll listen to the one episode that he downloaded and went, fuck that.
Yeah.
This shit show, I'm not listening to this anymore. And he'll never make it to this.
Don't worry, the election episode's not available.
Thank God.
So
It's painful.
Schitt's Creek gets its premiere date for 6th and final season on Pop TV, which will occur 9 months later on Netflix.
Yeah.
Pop TV announced today Schitt's Creek will return for its 6th and final season on Tuesday, January 7th.
Perfect.
With the new season consisting of 14 episodes.
Lovely.
There were more episodes than I remembered. I went to watch the last season because I thought Schitt's Creek started this week.
Right.
So I got myself all caught up, and then I found out I have 2 more months.
There it is.
But time well spent. Some genuine laughs and tears. Schitt's Creek has become a pop culture phenomenon, fueled by the most talented cast and most passionate fans in all of television. And the final season is sure to be weekly must-watch TV as we see what happens to the Roses. It's gut-wrenching to say goodbye, but we know this final season will deliver even more of the heart and humor that has made the series one of the best ever. Co-created by the Levy family, the half-hour single-camera comedy stars Eugene Levy, Daniel Levy, Catherine O'Hara, Annie Murphy, Chris Elliott, Emily Hampshire, Jennifer Robertson, Noah Reed, Dustin Milligan, Sarah Levy, and Karen Robinson. Commissioned by the CBC, it's produced by Not a Real Company Productions, and it's a lot of fun. And if you have not, if you don't want to watch the whole thing, I would just recommend season 5, episode 11, with the surprise party. And I'd seen it already, probably watched it twice when it aired. Watching it again, I was reduced to a puddle of tears, where the surprise party where Patrick's parents come and they don't know that he and David are in a relationship.
Right.
Yep.
Handled so beautifully.
So fun.
Tits to tail. Just a charming, charming thing. And when David's all set to apologize and they're like, we just want to know why it took so long to tell me. He's like, oh, okay, I thought this was going to get really dark. And just how inside, it's just very well done. Just a pleasure, and it's grown. The characters have all grown so nicely.
Yeah.
I forgot how good Stevie doing Maybe This Time was.
Oh, that makes me cry.
Yeah.
It was, I'd never heard the song that way, and I don't know if it's because I was emotionally involved in the character when she sold it.
Oh, no, and she really does, because she
Yeah.
gives it something. She acts it more than she sings it, which I'm usually not a fan of. But I like her so much, and you have her background story that all of a sudden it's all the more powerful because they've led you on this.
Because she's failed at
journey.
so many other things, and
Yeah.
then maybe this time she'll be the one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it was a great deal.
Very lovely. I'm very impressed. Then Kat and I had the great pleasure last Tuesday, in lieu of visiting you fine people. We went and saw Parasite, which it turns out is my 3rd movie from this Korean director.
Is not about bugs.
It's not about bugs.
By the way.
But it is the director that gave us Snowpiercer and last year gave us Burning, which I enjoyed both of them, although Burning was a little slow, I do have to admit. This movie was not slow.
Super fun.
Completely unexpected, and checked 5 boxes. Is it a comedy? Yep. Is it a horror movie? A little bit.
Maybe.
Is it suspenseful? Absolutely.
100%.
Did I forget I was reading subtitles? About
3
Barbara Seville
minutes
was,
in?
yeah.
Right.
Barbara Seville was absolutely right. I was so captivated. I did not
Forgot
register
that I was
that
reading.
it was a foreign movie. just wonderful acting from everybody involved, and I never once knew where that movie was going. I don't think I had one good guess as to what the fuck was going to happen next for the entire movie.
Oh yeah, that was the most fun I've had at a movie in a really long time.
Yeah, so Parasite.
Like, just hand on my chin, just don't know what's happening the whole time, just leaned in.
And I recognized the father, the driver. I recognized him, and it's because he's done all the other movies. So he has a part in Snowpiercer. So I wouldn't really recommend Burning because I still don't know what the fuck that was about. But Snowpiercer, and now Snowpiercer is a TV show, but it is a terrific movie about class. So obviously this is what he wants to make movies about, is about class struggle and the differences between the haves and the have-nots. Snowpiercer is about a train that's forced to circle the Earth because of the catastrophe of global warming and everything else that's happened. And the people in the back of the car don't realize that there's luxury in the front of the car. Like the rich people have the first half of the car, and the train is circling the globe. Very, very good. But I was so surprised by Parasite.
Same.
So there you go. And then my last thing.
Oh my gosh, so fast.
Yeah, I don't have much. Is Catch and Kill. We talked about it.
Oh yeah, I have yet to dive in.
Absolutely brilliant. Ronan Farrow has been doing the press rounds, which I watched, but I hadn't read the book, so I really didn't understand what Rachel Maddow was poking at and what she was so upset about. And Chris Hayes,
with regard to the NBC portion of this show,
went off on it, and I was kind of like, oh, okay, I get it, but I don't get it. Reads like a spy novel. It is a very, very, very riveting read. There's a little bit of pop culture. There's some people in there that you will have heard of. And then most of the people, you won't know who the fuck they are.
Right.
But, oh my God, reads like a spy novel because there's actual Israeli spies in this thing. And everyone is guilty. Like, no one comes out good in it. Like, no one. NBC comes off as a horrible place. And it's why all the investigative reporters are all like, what's up again?
Right.
And then they renewed the president of the news division, Oppenheim's contract a couple weeks ago, and they're all like, nah, like that can't be happening. And Ronan Farrow names names.
Right.
Like there is no.
Well, he got nothing to lose. He's got nothing to lose.
He did have quite a bit to lose, though. Like when you hear the story of what they were all doing and the things that have been going on for years, like continuing on with that story was a big risk. And I think
he has nothing to lose now.
Yeah, but he's never gonna work in network TV again. So he did kind of set his career on fire.
Yeah,
like there is no more TV journalism in his future. Like that's not.
Nobody's ever going to hire him.
No one's going to hire him. Like he.
I think you're going to be proved wrong.
Yeah. I mean, in time, everybody's going to get hired again. You know what I mean?
I'm waiting for Geraldo to come back. I'm still holding out for that.
Geraldo didn't go anywhere.
I'm kidding.
Oh, I'm like.
Or John Stossel, or any of them.
But when Bill O'Reilly comes back, and then.
Okay, there. I'm sorry. That one. Okay, that's
Harvey Weinstein was at a or Weinstein, which how do we decide we pronounce that? Weinstein.
I believe it's Steen.
So he showed up at a comedy club a week or two ago, and the comedian on stage was like, "So we're just gonna do a show with a rapist in the audience," and then somebody stood up from a table, and the crowd booed those two people out. Like they sided with him, and this was like
with Harvey.
Well,
with Harvey.
And the comedian made a really funny joke about it. Said something about, "Well, we're gonna tell a story about rape. You want to talk about mine or yours?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Talking to Harvey, like just really put it out there.
Yeah, like they were like merciless, and the crowd booed them and supported Harvey. And like these stories, like reading this book, I don't know that I mean, I read the New Yorker article, but I guess I just couldn't take it all in. But it's way worse than you think. Like as bad as it was reading the article, I didn't realize like how bad that culture was. And then there was two groups of Israeli spies that were spying on all these people at the same time and doing some really shitty stuff to Rose McGowan, like infiltrating her life and like inviting her on trips, and it turns out it was a literal Israeli spy
Okay.
that she was befriending so they could report back to Harvey what she was writing. The other one said, the code name was Sleeper 1973, and that's the name of a Woody Allen movie. So he thought he was getting an information dump, but using 2 like junk mails to do the information dump, since the spies were like really like they were going to lose their jobs when they did this information dump, and they're like, we didn't send 2, we sent 1. And he's like, I got 2 information dumps, and they're like, that's not us. We're not Sleeper 1973. And so through communication with this person who still remains anonymous, they just know it's a woman in Israeli intelligence, but she said to him, and I don't know, Access Hollywood, NBC had that tape and buried it. I did not remember that. So, I mean, NBC's been a piece of shit organization for years now, but they buried the Access Hollywood tape of Grab 'Em by the Pussy.
Mm-hmm.
They wouldn't publish it. So that had to go somewhere else. That went to Access Hollywood, or who I can't remember who finally published it, but they sat on that.
Tonight, maybe?
Well, Access Hollywood was NBC, isn't it? Isn't that?
I don't know.
I don't know that. But all I know is NBC had that story, knew they had it, and they held on to it for the bulk of the election because they were in bed with all these people, and Harvey was luring Matt Lauer over them, but nobody knew what he was threatening him with. No one knew what, and they still haven't said that that's what Harvey knew. But then this Sleeper 1973 told Ronan, she's like, you know the first 2 things, but there's one more sledgehammer falling on NBC. And he was like, you know, he called out CBS for Les Moonves. He called out, I can't think of what the Amazon guy that got the boot right after Jeffrey Tambor. And then it turns out that Matt Lauer was only like 6 weeks later. And that was what, like, he was like, holy shit, everybody fucking knew about Matt Lauer, too. And they still won't admit that they still will not admit. And, like, Rachel, I don't know if you watched the Rachel thing with Ronan, where they said that they were canceling the non-disclosure agreement. So what they would do is they would say, you complained about me sexually harassing you.
Right.
So Clayton would be like, all right, we're gonna let you go. We're gonna give you a severance package, but it's a non-disclosure, non-disparaging.
Right. Sign here, take your money, never
take
say
your money.
anything.
You're gonna get a really huge severance package, but you can never disparage NBC or the companies of NBC. And that's how they silenced all these people. And some people were like, well, I don't have a job now. I need money, so I guess I have to do that. And then I don't want to tell my story past this. And it's not going anywhere. So NBC made a big show because Rachel Maddow was like, excuse me, fuckers, but what are we doing here that these non-disclosures, because Ronan's book was the first time everybody found out about all the people that are being kept silent about Matt Lauer. So he's coming on NBC. It's the only NBC show he's been on any format. Nobody on NBC has let him on to talk about the book except for her. And she's like, okay, here's my announcement. This is bullshit, and we fucked up 3 straight times. What are we doing about this? And the executives told her, we're releasing everybody from the NDAs. Like, anybody right now, if you've... No, but wait. They said that to her. Then you find out when he goes on...
that it's not true.
Love It or Leave It, that they have to go and like, interview with NBC and decide if NBC will let them out of their NDAs. So it was like, we'll just say this to shut up Rachel for now, but they're still going to go through their whole trauma one more time, and they need to tell us their story again, and we'll decide if we can let them go. Because the follow-up on Love It or Leave It was like, yeah, I gave them too much praise way too early. Like, they're still fucking with people. So here's NBC, which is our MSNBC that we all watch, and we enjoy their coverage. And, like, seriously, when you read this book, there is no one that comes off untainted. Like, whether or not Clinton had anything to do with her husband's misdeeds, she was definitely hiring people to smear the women that accused him.
Right.
She may not have had any part in that, but she certainly had her hand in smearing the accusers and pulling that shit. And all the stuff about
crime,
Pecker,
it's the cover-up.
Right, the cover-up. This whole book, and it's, I mean, I read it in 2 sittings, and I was like,
wow,
what the fuck am I reading? It is riveting, so I cannot recommend it enough. Catch and Kill, Ronan Farrow. I guess the audiobooks Fun 2, he got audio files to talk like other people, and then on Love It or Leave It, he went on the air. They did a very serious interview that was charming and delightful because they're engaged. Mm-hmm. And the engagement is in the book. He
wrote it into the book, and that's how he proposed.
Yeah, he wrote it into the book, and that's how he proposed. And then in the draft, and now in the book, the proposal and the response are there. So that's very cute. But the
it's a good way to test and see if he actually read the book.
Right. But he said he put it in. He said he put it in 6 times.
Oh,
and
really?
finally he read it.
That's funny.
Finally he read the marriage proposal. But so if you see them on, and you can watch it on the YouTubes as well. The first interview, very serious, very well done with John Lovett and his fiance.
Yeah.
And then the afterwards where they do a lightning round with Ronan is super sweet. That's when they're like, okay, they're a couple.
Yeah.
And at the end, they get a little bit mushy. And Ronan's like, well, I was going to pick a fight with him, but that was very nice. And they say, I love each other to each other, and they kiss. And I was like, I thought John Lovett was some sad schmo single guy. And then you find out he's...
No, there have been clues to this for a long time.
He's been in this relationship longer than any of the guys on the show. He's been in a committed relationship longer than any of the guys that have been, like, making fun of him as their single friend.
Well, because he still lives like a single friend because they live on both sides of the country, right?
So that was cute. And the one lightning round question, he's like, East Coast, like New York or LA? And Ronan's like, oh, fuck. But interesting to have, and like one of the very interesting parts of the book is, so if you decide with eliminating someone's whole, like Michael Jackson, if you take out Michael Jackson and you no longer listen to Michael Jackson, you might miss some of the genius that is Quincy Jones. But you can find Quincy Jones productions that sound pretty similar in other places. If you decide you're not going to watch any Woody Allen films, then you lose most of Mia Farrow's career because you're not watching Rosemary's Baby because that's the other rapist. That's Roman Polanski.
God damn
so
it.
if you get rid of
all the rapes are ruining movies.
Yeah, if you get rid of Rosemary's Baby and all the Woody Allen films, then what is your proof that Mia Farrow's a great actress? Like, how would you ever know? You wouldn't. So you lose too much in punishing one person on a movie. We've talked about this with Cosby, but money, but also the art that was provided. I don't think there's anything artful about the Cosby Show, but
those sweaters, man.
Those sweaters. You'll never know that sweaters were a thing. But like
That's when I fell in love with Felicia Rashad.
Yeah, again,
absolutely.
But you wouldn't know how good she is and her gentle brand of
Malcolm
non-comedy.
Jamal Warner and Lisa Bonet and all of them.
Right. You miss all of their, not just the money, but then it's the talent and their contribution. That if you wipe off the one, unfortunately, everything goes with it, and it's not really fair, because if you make it to the end of your life saying you like movies and you've never seen Interiors because Woody Allen directed it, you're cheating yourself out of Geraldine Page's greatest performance and one of like the 5 greatest performances by any human on film. And like, I really can't care what the director did. I know it's probably horrible, but can I just watch this as a Geraldine Page movie? Can I just watch how good Geraldine Page is in a movie that Woody Allen wrote and directed? But you lose her part of the art, and that's not fair to her. Like, she can't fix that. She's dead 20-some years. But you can't not see Interiors if you really...
I get what you're saying, because you can't really take it out. And besides, the tentacles, I hate to use that term.
Yeah, but the
tentacles of Bill Cosby are everywhere.
Right.
You can't
that's
just...
a frightening image.
You can't,
God damn it.
but you can't eliminate him from your world altogether.
No, you really
You're still
can't.
going to eat Jell-O? Yeah, we're going to eat Jell-O.
I'm not, but...
Well, no, I'm saying, but I mean, it's still a
I'm
product.
more
It's
about
out
the
there.
Jell-O pudding myself.
No,
but,
good.
I mean,
And I just laugh about it because, and I just laugh because pulling Bill Cosby out doesn't do anything to me. Like, nothing's lost.
does nothing to your life, right?
But the Woody Allen thing really bothers me because there's so many phenomenal movies and so many
and the Weinstein
performances.
also.
And
How many movies are there?
Then I've never seen it. If I have never seen those, then I've never seen a movie, because those are like 20 of my 50 favorite movies of all time come from that company. And that's why that upset me so much to find out he was this just a monster. Like, he's not even human. And the fact that people
Real
are
bad,
like,
yeah.
I can look past this. No. Like, okay, we can watch the old movies because, his name only comes up in the beginning. And maybe you'll think, did that actress get raped while she was doing that scene? But
But you'll know why you never see the actress again because she said no.
No, and that's the weirdest, the hand of God, the weirdest thing about it. Doug and I have had conversations about so many actresses that we liked that we were like, where did they go?
Right, why did they do more?
Why don't they have a career? Mira Sorvino, like, where did she go? Why did Ashley Judd have like 8 hit movies in a row and then just
big movies
disappear?
Yeah.
Like Ashley Judd was like a household name, and then she was gone. And you find out it's all the same reason. Like, where is Bridget Fonda? I don't think she had anything to do with Weinstein. Steen. But where's Bridget Fonda? Somebody find her. I want a written response.
Jane knows.
Probably, but I don't know, and that's what's important. Where is Bridget Fonda? Because that career was spectacular. Simple Favor, you put it on, I'm going to sit there and watch it. I'll lie to you and tell you that, nope, my dog's sick. I got to stay home. And it's just to watch A Simple Favor because she's brilliant. So there you go. Catch and Kill, Ronan Farrow. An amazing book.
Completely different story, but remember this woman who was flipped off the motorcade?
The motorcade, yes. Lost her job for it.
Lost her job, but tonight, ladies and gentlemen, she was fired after seen flipping off the motorcade, but she just won a seat at the local county board of supervisors in Northern Virginia.
Oh,
tonight.
Atta
In
girl.
addition to many other, if you go through headlines, you're going to see that many.
how are the election
Democratic
results?
The election results coming in are very favorable to the blue.
Did we win the Virginia?
Kentucky too close to call, and the Republicans not going to concede, so we'll probably find that out in the morning the last time I knew.
Did we flip the Virginia House or Senate
I
for the census?
I didn't see anything about it yet, but stand by.
Watch this space.
Watch this space.
It was exciting to go back and watch those Rachel things after having read the
Virginia
book.
Democrats take control of the state house, and the Kentucky governor race too close to call, according to USA Today, America's McPaper.
McPaper, the nation's McPaper.
Yeah, mouthful of nuts. Never thought I'd say it on the air.
And yet you did.
Speaking of McDonald's,
I'm
McPaper,
older than the Happy Meal, I know.
No.
Oh.
2 big CEOs with McDonald's were either fired
Oh,
or
we're shit
quit
canned, yeah.
because of affairs with employees.
Yep.
That was another thing. And I don't know what turmoil that rolls through the old McWorld there, but I mean, that was big news this week for
Yeah.
a while.
And NBC is still spinning on its heels saying that Matt Lauer never raped anybody and that it was one thing and that locking door is just something that happens.
Ask Ann
It's
Curry
just
how all
not.
that shit failed out.
But you know who's the hero in the book? 2 heroes. Rachel Maddow comes out is like one of only 2 people that comes out good in this book.
Of course she would.
John Lovett comes out really funny. At the end in the acknowledgments, he's like, all right, he got the dedication and he's been quoted 5 times in the book. How much attention does this guy need? Very funny relationship. I find them to be my new favorite couple.
Good.
But Meredith Vieira, who was in Sochi and was working with this producer,
Yeah.
and they were very close. So when the producer went to Meredith Vieira and told her what had happened, Meredith Vieira was like, we are going, even though Meredith Vieira did not work for NBC anymore, she's like, we're going, and we're going to tell the story. And it's Meredith Vieira knocking on the door being like, I got a big fucking mouth. You going to do something about this? And got Matt Lauer fired that day.
Wow.
Like, that was Meredith Vieira being like, I was in the hotel with you and I didn't know this. Like, because I guess because Meredith Vieira likes to drink and they were all drinking and
Shocking.
it all went from a prank with stealing each other's press passes. That's how they ended up having to they stole Matt Lauer's press pass to be funny. And he was like, oh, did you look for yours yet? And then they did like an exchange. And then Meredith Vieira left them with all of them laughing about the prank they had just played, and then he called her down to his room because he was like, no, I still have yours. Or he came up to her room and raped her. Like, he knocked on the door and she opened it and she was like, but why wouldn't I open the door for Matt Lauer? And it's horrifying to hear these stories of these women that are like, but why wouldn't I open the door for a coworker I was just laughing with? Like, why would I not?
Right, and had worked with.
When I had just pranked him and he's just pranking me, like, that doesn't lead to rape. But, I mean, the culture in all these places is just abominable.
Wretched.
And the fact that NBC still has those 2 guys in charge, it's shocking.
Oh, I'm sure that's not done yet either.
Wait, one more thing. Are you ready for this? This book...
I don't know that I am. I don't know that I am.
Blew my mind. I cannot. They hired somebody specifically to rewrite the Wikipedia page every other day to make sure that Oppenheim's page never had any information about him knowing about Matt Lauer or killing the Ronan Farrow story.
Oh.
They have people out there that all you do is sit on your computer, and if something new
monitor
comes
that.
across Wikipedia, you whitewash Wikipedia. Wikipedia found out about this job, and now if you go to Oppenheim's page, it says he took part in shutting down Ronan Farrow's story and hired someone to whitewash this page.
Wow.
I was like, because I was like, this is a thing? Because that's what made me Google him. So that's how bad this culture is. Like,
Wow.
let's say you're Asia Argento, one of the women that he raped. They were going on her Wikipedia page and, like, putting pictures on there and adding information to make her the
problem.
predator. And I'm like, Wikipedia's the bad guy now? Like, oh, my God. It's a short book, but it is just packed with villains.
Crazy.
Going back to election results, breaking news. Regina Romero becomes the first woman and first Latina to be elected as mayor of Tucson, Arizona.
Oh,
All
look at
right.
that.
Was I supposed to vote for
How
her?
did the
I looked up. nothing was Phoenix.
I was like, I don't have any notes to vote today.
I had
had nothing.
I had a budget override.
Yeah, there was
for
some
the school
Scottsdale
district.
stuff.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
I
think you
freaked
had
out this
anything.
morning going, wait a minute.
Yeah.
How did I miss this? And I jumped on the website and realized that none of it was Phoenix.
Do you
Okay.
have anything on the ballot measures for Tucson? Because didn't they have Sanctuary City on the ballot?
They did have Sanctuary City. I do not know anything about that at this point.
Good for them.
But I know I should have it recorded. After we're done, I'm going to go pull up the episode of Maddow that he was on and watch it because for whatever reason that night I don't know
Apparently,
what
I
I
don't
was
know how to spell
doing.
Tucson.
I wasn't doing and I didn't see it, but I knew it
and
happened.
they pulled it off the podcast. It's not available on the podcast.
Well, I have it
that
recorded on
episode.
the DVR.
Yeah.
I'll have
Oh,
to the
the-
episode of Rachel.
the Rachel Maddow. It's not on the podcast.
Nuh-uh. They eliminated it.
So I'm curious. Speaking of Rachel, with all this,
And they don't eliminate anything from that podcast.
What I'm wondering is, her to call out her own company who's writing her check.
Soundly rejected Sanctuary City
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
and rejected salary increase for the mayor and city council. That's good. I always vote no for those. Fuck those people. Carry on.
No, but I was curious because Rachel has a very nice contract and she's done very well for 11 years in her show or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking, again, what does she have to lose? Anybody will pick her up.
Oh, I've
Are
watched.
you kidding? Somebody's gonna be like, "Oh, you just lost your job. You want 2 hours? We'll give you 2 hours."
I just watched that 20-minute intro, and it is scathing. Like, if I was sitting upstairs, I'd be like, and she told him in, oh, now I don't know because I've watched all of them. In one of them, she's like, yeah, you're not supposed to stay for a second segment, but I'm not happy with your answers. So I'm overriding everybody, and you're sticking around after the break. And he's like, and he said, he's like, I told them, because he kept saying, maybe I can still be on the air at NBC. Like, maybe I can still have a job as an investigative reporter for NBC. I'll play along. And he's like, I won't lie, but I will avoid the topic because I'm not the topic of the story. So it's easy for me to say, no, the problem here is the women. And then he realized, nope, the problem is the culture at NBC, that this is what happened. So when she presses him, he's like, no, they said no to the story. And she's like, but you reported it 5 weeks. How could you possibly have not been ready to print? And you changed venues.
And boom.
And boom, it was ready 3 or 5 days after the New York Times story. And it's a Pulitzer. We lost a Pulitzer Prize. Like, we're missing a Pulitzer Prize. That was ours. And he's like, you'll have to ask your superiors. Mm-hmm. And now with the book, he's like, because they fucked.
Right.
It's shocking.
Explain this to me, Kat, because I'm sure you will.
Anything.
Democrat Andy Beshear leads in tight Kentucky governor's race that says New York City to adopt ranked choice voting.
Oh, interesting.
What is that?
If it's like California,
So ranked choice voting means that the top two vote getters move on to the next.
so it doesn't have to be a Democrat or
Correct.
Republican.
So it's not in your primary elections, they're open. And so it's not party based. And so then the top two vote getters, so you could potentially have two people from the same party vying for the
Okay.
seat.
All right.
And that's what happened in California. That's how they've eliminated so many Republicans, is because when they do the primaries, the Republicans aren't even finishing in the top
Right,
four.
okay.
So you end up with Kamala Harris running against another Democrat.
Right.
And so that makes sense that New York would do it too.
Sure.
Because you end up lopsided. And if you looked at the votes in Arizona, if we did it here for the presidential election, Trump would not have been on the ballot because Clinton and Bernie both got more votes than Trump. He had the highest total.
Because that's a split.
He had the highest Republican total, but so I don't know. Is that what it is? Or
It feels very. Wait, hang on. Ranked choice voting is a method of voting where voters choose their first and second choice, so it's like Oscar voting. Stand by.
It's good that you pay attention to my Oscar voting
You're
rules.
welcome. Yeah.
Them's
I knew
tricky.
immediately as I read that. I was like,
See
oh
how we
wait,
came full circle with that right
Yep.
there?
it's like Oscar voting. A voter is asked to evaluate multiple candidates, pushes politicians to do outreach to larger groups of constituents. Back up to how it works. Ranked choice voting to go into effect. Stand by. Moments away. Here it is explained.
Moments away.
Here it is. Technically, ballot question 1, which apparently passed, amends the city charter to give voters the choice of ranking up to 5 candidates in primary and special elections for mayor, public advocate, comptroller, borough president, and city council beginning January 2021. As the name suggests, ranked choice voting lets voters mark their first choice candidate first, their second choice candidate second, their third choice candidate third, and so on. You can do the math.
Yeah.
Each voter has only one vote but can indicate their backup choices. If one candidate has an outright majority of first place rankings, the candidate wins, just like a regular
Wow,
election.
this really is the Oscars.
I know. But if no candidate has a majority in the first round, the candidate in the last place is eliminated. Voters who had ranked that candidate first have their votes transferred to the candidate they ranked second. This process continues until a single candidate gains a majority.
Okay.
It's the Oscars.
It's the Oscars. Wow. Holy shit. So that is different than California's system.
Okay.
Yeah, because
When you think California would have taken the
most
Oscars.
money wins. Or most votes, not money, but
Most votes win, and well, no, and the Republicans have tried. But so if a Republican makes it on the ballot, and that's why Nunez was not expected to even be in the running. Like they think that they can get 2 people in his district.
Oh, Devin
2
Nunes.
Democrats to get more votes than him, and he won't even be able to run. They think they can beat him in the primary this time, but they also said that last time, and they didn't. So, who knows?
All right.
But Virginia, that's a big fucking deal.
Unless any other headlines come in and break in, let's go to the Wheel of Love and Tenderness and see what happens.
see what I
Wanna
stuck on this shit show.
Play that beautiful bean footage. What do we got? Cannibal ants?
Holy fuck.
What?
Wait, I know.
What is it?
That's what I said too
All
when
right.
I read the headline that
All right.
said, "Oh, this fucking machine." It said 1 million cannibal ants escaped from a nuclear bunker. What the fuck is happening? Honestly, a colony of up to 1 million cannibal ants trapped in a nuclear bunker for years have escaped, according to scientists in Poland. Now, granted, it's not very close to us. Still,
Them fuckers travel, though.
feels not good. The ants, which found no food source other than their dead nestmates, were first discovered in 2013 and were found to be solely made up of worker ants, meaning they could not reproduce. How their numbers grew so large, mystery. Nobody
The
knows.
queen's a hoe.
No,
There's no
she's gone.
queen.
There's no queen.
Oh, no queen.
There's
They're
no
all
queen.
workers.
Ain't no queen.
This is very Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Nature
Got
finds
it.
a
Got
way.
it.
This is what happens when you put all the gays on the island. They find a way. They eat the dead ones. I don't know how it works.
Got dark. Super dark.
Wow, that did.
The team, led by somebody with a very Polish name from the Museum and Institute of Zoology and the
Polish
Polish
names.
Academy of Science. Tchaikovsky is his name.
Okay.
His first name is entirely too Polish for me, but Tchaikovsky I can get through. They carried out a survey of bats living in a bunker, and then they came across these wood ants living in an ammunition bunker where nuclear weapons were once kept. Ants had no access to the outside world, appeared to have come from a nest above that was positioned over a ventilation pipe, and when the ants fell down the pipe, they were entombed in the bunker and lived. After returning to the site 2 years later, scientists found the colony was not only still there, but it had grown in numbers, despite there being no obvious food source, no heat, no light, A population estimate suggests that there were hundreds of thousands, if not 1 million ants living in this bunker with no food other than their dead friends.
Wow.
It's freaking me out.
So I guess
out.
what's really freaking me out...
This is what I thought Parasite was going to be about.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess maybe just on the cursory level, looking at this, I'm concerned that they multiply like sons of bitches. That's one. Number two, if they eat themselves, I feel like this is just like they're going to be sponsored by Terminex, and they'll just go out and eat all the other bugs that you've got.
Well,
Or the other
you'll be
ants.
happy to know that they've been liberated. They were provided an escape route, and the ants appear to have made their way back to the original
They
nest.
consumed every fucking thing in sight.
No, because they got there. They fell down like a ventilation pipe, couldn't get back out. So they lived on their dead friends.
Right.
And then scientists were like, oh, here, little ants, you can get back out. And then they went back home.
So now we have like Spider-Man living amongst
Exactly.
us. 'Cause we've
That's
got
exactly
like
what's happening. There's an
we've got
origin
a
story here somewhere.
Yeah, there's an origin story.
I am
there.
They're nuclear ants.
I would like to know what's in the inside of this ventilation pipe, because I thought fucking ants could crawl on everything. Literally
Yeah,
can
how
crawl up. They can crawl up everything.
I don't know.
wonder what's on the inside of this ventilation
Or
pipe.
it was just sealed.
well,
because
how
it
they
was
but they
nuclear.
fell into it.
Yeah, like maybe they were on the top of it and then they fell and I don't know.
I'd like to see
I'm
it.
not an ant.
It makes
I don't know
it makes
these
a good
things.
reason to go to
Dead
Poland.
ant, dead ant.
It's freaking
Dead
me
ant.
out. It freaked
Dead
me
ant.
out, and now you can freak out about
Now
it
you
too.
too can freak out.
Good. We'll all have nightmares.
Feeling
That's
kind of
lovely.
itchy, aren't you?
All right, let's go spin the wheel of
Fucking
love.
ants.
See what happens.
Cannibal ants.
Here we go. What's this? What's this
Cannibal
one?
ants.
Anastasia the musical.
AKA a public nap.
Okay. Don't know anything about it, but go ahead.
Well, we left out of our what did you do this week?
Yeah, we both did.
We left it out.
Strong endorsement.
Having season tickets to the Gamage series, we saw Anastasia the musical, AKA a public nap. Some of our party really enjoyed it, and some of our party thought, "Oh my God, so dull."
Okay.
I'm of the latter
The
party.
dull part, right.
The dull
A
part.
little bit of both. I thought it was very enjoyable, but I did think, well, that's a lot of exposition.
It's a lot of exposition. There's not a single song that stands out in my mind. Like, none of the music was remarkable. It was all pretty, but okay,
All
great.
right.
Like, nothing wonderful happened there. I should have just taken the nap.
Okay.
I'm so sorry to the fine people of Anastasia.
So a historical
It
note.
is-
One of my favorite stories. So,
It is the story of the disappeared Princess Anastasia.
The Grand Duchess Anastasia. The woman was from an insane asylum. That's the part that they kind of cleaned up.
Huh?
Anna, I think her name was Anna Anderson. She appeared, did well, and then ended up going. She really did go off with the guy that was trying to pass her off. They weren't sure, and it wasn't debunked for years. But she did go live a quiet life. Like, she did, like, think the one thing I do have to say in its defense, like, we didn't watch an abused girl. It wasn't 2 hours.
That's fair.
Like, she saved herself. She had her own story.
All right.
She told the guys to fuck off. So there was some
There's a little spunk in her. I'll give her that.
genuinely odd premise for a music. I don't know who thought, well, there's a story that needs music to it, because it's
Fox,
so
it turns out.
it's so dark, which now is Disney, because Disney
Right.
bought Fox, so now she is a Disney princess. So that was the thing that I wrote was like one of the few heroines in like that kind of like
in that
genre
particular genre of princesses.
that's not
right.
like in like besides Belle trading herself for her father and like saving the
Belle's
day
a
herself.
badass. I'm
Belle's
all
a
about
badass,
Belle.
yeah. So it really is like an impressive story. But so this woman was not found out. They didn't find the graves till later, but they finally did all the DNA testing. So no one really knew till years after she died that
she wasn't.
that she
Anastasia
absolutely
at all.
wasn't.
Right.
But the Dowager Empress did say like, it's just over.
Yeah.
Like she did just say we're done looking without knowing how it ended. So they really kind of stuck close to it. But it was one of those things where like there was no one song that I left humming. I thought the score was lovely.
Yeah.
They waited like an hour and a half to introduce a fun song to get the
I
audience
could have heard
in.
all of that music in an elevator and left with the exact same feeling.
In a music box.
Yeah. Exact same feeling.
Yeah, I left humming somewhere my love from Dr. Zhivago.
Oh, very nice.
I left humming the theme from another Russian movie that I'm sure they've tried to make a musical of. And again, I don't know why. The Russians really don't make things that translate into musical theater.
Opera's more.
So
The ballet, perhaps. They're good at the ballet. They're really good at the
yeah.
ballet.
And pissy about French ballet.
Oh, fuck them.
I only know
Spin it
one song
again.
from Dr. Zhivago. So
It should be Somewhere My Love because it's the
it
only
is.
song. Yeah.
It's
The song.
Because the movie's not a musical. There's only one song in it.
Don't I know. How can I be older than the Happy Meal?
I just found this out today, and I'm devastated.
Welcome to my life.
All right.
And I thought immediately of Al Perkins and Scooby-Doo. Turns out I am older than the Happy Meal. Here's how I got there. Saw an article about the morning show on NPR that I can't remember what it was, and it's not very important. About
I
how
remember when
it's...
the Happy Meals came out.
Yeah, me too. It's
Fuck you both.
Oh, we were there.
You guys are old.
I guess.
Yes. It was not a mystery to me that I was
Yeah.
older than
I'm-
the Happy Meal.
We didn't need Ronan Farrow to figure that one out.
Very upset. This is the first time I've ever found out something that I thought had happened for my whole life. In fact, had not.
I had not.
Oh.
When were you born?
December 1978. The Happy Meal debuted in June of 1979. So it's only slight.
I would have guessed like 81 or 82.
Yeah, I would have guessed earlier too.
It was the...
I mean, like with you.
It was first called
I thought it was after the Live and More album.
Circus Wagon Happy Meal, as it was originally known, launched in the United States in June 1979. The meal included a hamburger or cheeseburger, fries, and cookies. Some of the early Happy Meal toys included a McDoodler stencil, a McWrist wallet, and a spinning top. The box became instantly recognizable with the meal. Same shape as it still fucking is.
Yeah.
1982, after becoming a hit in the United States, McDonald's expanded the meal internationally.
And that means Niagara Falls finally got it because we were always way behind.
There it is. Debuted first in Latin America before hitting Australia and New Zealand. In 1984, they added the McNuggets. In 91, they partnered with United Airlines to offer Happy Meals on the flight.
Yep.
In-flight Happy Meal. The deal ended in 2001 when they stopped feeding us all together.
I still miss the McDLT.
Hot on one side, cold on the other.
Yes,
Yeah.
I miss the McDLT. I like that one.
What was the D in D? Oh, McDonald's.
Yeah.
Okay.
And now, in connection with that, to celebrate this milestone, which is how I even know about half of this in the first place, is because they're now re-releasing the toys from the 90s for
Yeah.
no reason at all,
Right.
other than kids 10 years younger than I am buy everything from
Yeah.
when they were 5
Right.
again and again and
Right,
again.
right.
Yeah.
I don't
It's
understand
just
any of
junk
that.
you have to dust.
And weren't they
I don't get it.
reissuing the original the boxes? Like they're reprinting them the original way they were. as
Just
well?
the red with the handles, but they're still those. Like,
No, but I thought, well, whatever original games were, I thought that they were doing
Oh,
the
they might
little
be.
thing with all the original graphics on
yeah,
it.
well, because there used
Graphics,
to be
that's
like
the word I wanted.
stickers and shit. I don't fucking know.
I do remember
Anyway.
when the McNuggets came out because I remember being very intrigued by that. I remember ranch dressing being new too. Like,
Yeah.
I remember being like, ranch dressing. What's this?
What's this? What's going on here? What's happening?
And then I remember taking 3 years to be like, I don't like it.
Yeah.
The
You know
original
what?
apple
This is my-
pie. Joe was talking in the chat room about the original apple pie, original version of it.
Wasn't it in the weird fucking
It was
weird
like an
box?
empanada.
It was
It was an empanada.
It
really
was
was.
bigger
Yeah.
than the current ones. I'll tell you that much. At one point, because now they're just tiny,
Shaped like a pierogi.
Yes.
tiny little thing. Huh?
Turns out I ate at McDonald's as a child more than I thought. But we would go during rehearsals because the McDonald's was at the end of the street where my high school was.
Oh, okay.
So during rehearsals when we were hungry, we
Super
would run down
convenient.
the street with whatever change we had in our pocket and buy McNuggets and apple pies and
For 48 cents.
Right
yeah.
back
Yeah.
in the day. All right,
and you could
let's-
buy
What
the
else is on
McNuggets by the each. In Niagara Falls,
Oh,
you could.
sure.
You didn't have to buy like 6 or
I
9.
loved when they started selling them by the 20.
Andrea Savage podcast.
Andrea Savage, I'm recently and weirdly obsessed with. She's a comedian. She's a writer. She has a show called I'm Sorry that she wrote and stars
Oh,
in.
I do enjoy her.
I enjoy her a great deal. I think there's a secret conspiracy that she is related to Jane Lynch somehow, but I can't find it online.
You just believe that in your own head?
I think it's a weird like family thing.
Isn't she Australian? Right? You said you just said.
I don't think so.
American actress.
She's American.
You're thinking of the wrong person. I'm
Maybe.
sorry. Let me look her up. Andrea Savage. Let me look her up right quick. Go ahead.
True TV. Her show's called I'm Sorry. I've just discovered her
No,
podcast.
never mind. I'm Sorry is a great series.
It's a super funny little show.
It
Yeah,
very-
no, it's
when
hilarious.
it first came out, it was only available on YouTube. The first few
Okay.
episodes, and that's where I found it. And then I got sidetracked with cat videos or whatever. But I watched like 3 episodes of it, and it was crazy funny.
Yeah. Well, now she has a podcast that I'm delighted to listen to.
Different person that we're talking
That's
about. Got it.
so very much like you can definitely tell that she is just playing herself in her show because she's just still
Yes.
that same character in her podcast, and I'm finding it delightful. I'm two and a half episodes in.
She's President Montes from Veep.
Yes. Yeah, she's got acting credits and lots of writing credits, and
Yeah.
you know has done
And
well
you
and made
just
friends
know
and
that when
whatever.
there's somebody play even a small part on Veep, that they must be really funny, and somebody found them and was like, "We're gonna find you
Right.
something
We're gonna
to
fit
do on
you
our
in
show."
here
Yeah.
somehow. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll probably mock the shit out of you and call you horrible names, but you're gonna like it. Because I was just like, oh, she's done something I watched, and I looked down and I'm like, there she is.
I feel like the TV series that I recall of it, she's married, they have 2 kids, and they have to interact with the neighbors like around them and their other people, at least the episode I saw, and they just horrible things happened that weren't their fault, and then it was very funny. I do recall
Yes,
that. Very
it's
funny.
one child and a
it's
neighbor
one
that they
child.
share a driveway with that they do terrible things to. But yeah, show very funny, podcast very funny.
All right.
I'm sold. I'm in. I'm following her on all of the social medias now. Weirdly obsessed, and I'm gonna find the Jane Lynch connection because
And again,
I think
can't tell you
they're
enough if you
related.
haven't watched Veep, just watch Veep and just wait for her to
Right.
show up. She's not as funny as What's Her Butt from Sweden, but they do fun stuff with her.
Someday I will have time to watch Veep. I will get into Veep. I will, I swear. All right, spin. What do we got? What do we got? No whammies. Big money, big money.
There's not much left.
There's probably not. We're going to go
No,
again.
I think the only thing that we didn't hit was the Kentucky governor, but we talked about it beforehand.
Oh, Andrew Savage keeps coming up.
Well, after you do 3, it only does the same ones over and over again.
And it's-
No, but I think there's literally only one more thing on there, and it's the new Kentucky governor.
I
and we don't know
like.
yet.
It's the next one was the Kentucky governor. Go for it. Let's talk about that.
We did.
We did.
Oh, I didn't
Too
know if
close
you
to
did
call.
Close
do
to
it.
call.
Oh no, I think it's done.
Kentucky
Oh.
governor's race neck and neck as of 9 minutes ago. The Guardian.
Oh, I just was reading something on Facebook a second ago that said that it was a done deal, but maybe somebody
well, no,
jumped the gun.
the Republican won't concede yet, so they're gonna.
Oh, of course.
Andy Bashir has declared victory over Matt Bevin, who's terrible. Bashir is ahead by about 5,300 votes with 100% of precincts reporting, but Bevin has not conceded.
Well, that'll be done.
So they're gonna wait. They're just gonna wait until every single vote is
Ooh,
counted.
that means my boyfriend's on MSNBC when I get home.
Oh,
Ooh.
Karnacki. Oh yeah, he's working overtime. Smoke's
And
coming out.
didn't
of
we
his-
talk about the fact that he's a Mo?
No,
Yeah, he's big
He
on
has a
homo.
podcast too, I think.
didn't know that.
So we have not.
I
talked about
can't
him.
keep up with everybody that's gay. It's hard
So
enough.
many gays.
I was so excited.
Isn't
to
it
find
better
out
when
the
there are
hot
only, like,
gay
6 of
nerd.
them?
Yeah,
Do
the
you mean you have
hot
a
gay
chance?
nerd is gay.
Do you have a chance?
Yes, we have a lot to talk about.
you should call him. We
You
should end this
should.
show and you should go call
You
him.
should, right now.
Do you think I won't?
Don't dare me.
Yeah, when did I become the shy one?
I'd never.
When was my role recast as the shy part?
Well, we're trying new things this season.
Good to let me know these things. All right. Well, I think we're about
You're
done.
not in charge of
And
this
then
show. I think we're about done.
I found a video of Steve Kornacki standing in front of the board.
There you go.
Oh, play the Oscar thing.
We're not playing it because we will get dinged and the whole show. will be,
Oh, well, if you
no.
listen to this, go find SNL, Oscar, and just be prepared to be
the
amused.
origination, right? The origins
The
of
origin
Oscar the
story
Grouch.
of Oscar the Grouch.
Well,
'Cause we're gonna watch it once we turn this off.
Can't wait.
Sure. Yes. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, good job, kids. We got through it.
Say goodnight, Gracie.
Good night, Grace. Good night. Oh, I missed that. Burns and Allen. I miss the Burns. I love the Burns and Allen show. She was so brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, heavens. Well, everybody, thanks for being with us, however many of you there were. Anybody still left in the old term there?
Nope, we scared all of them off.
All right. Well, we did our job.
Well,
Thanks for playing, Kevin. And
Because I went through
Ilya.
and stalked them and read their information.
I feel like we are successful on all aspects of this. My shelf worked perfectly for the show, so I feel it was a successful run.
It did shelf things.
Yes. All right. Well, as we leave you tonight, let's leave you with this parting thought. We will see you next Tuesday. Maybe.
All right.